The road to $10,000 makes one final stop at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Two drivers, $10,000 in a NASCAR championship on the line this evening over 167 laps around the Homestead Miami Speedway. Will it be Ray Alfalla, the two-time and defending champion, taking away his third crown, or will it be Tyler Hudson, breakout season, won his first race this season, and now looking to upend the three-peat? Tim Terry, Tony Stevens, Joe Cortez here to call all the action for you. And gentlemen, this is the tightest point battle in series history. This is going to come down to those last laps in that last corner to see who's going to win this championship.
No, you're absolutely right, Tim. It's going to come down to just putting it all on the line. Very simple scenario for everybody here. Win, and it's yours. That's all you need to worry about. Beat the other guy, and the championship is yours, period. So it's very similar to what we saw in Homestead a couple of years ago in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. But you got to remember, too, Joe, there's more than just the championship and $10,000 on the line. There's a lot of other things on the line as well, all through the running order.
All through the running order, everyone in the top 10 anyways walks away with something, but I think it's more than that, though, Tony. I think tonight is about pride. Tonight is about a coming of age for two drivers. Tonight is about so much more than the $10,000 on the line. Tonight we're going to see two of the most prolific drivers in iRacing.com history do battle around here. This is going to be an iRacing race for ages. This is the one that people will talk about at the end, and this is the one when people point back to why iRacing is a top-tier simulation, they will point to this race. They will say, this is what got me addicted, and this is why I love iRacing.
And you're going to see those prizes on your screen there, and you add those top five up, there's $16,000 between your top five positions. It's $10,000 to win, and then it's a nice little drop-off to that second place position. So you're going to think $7,000 is going to mean a lot. Not only that, your championship ring goes to your first place prize. You get to go to Homestead Miami Speedway and do all the media and all that fun stuff down there as the champion of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. And then you look back, 6th all the way back to 12th. Do get iRacing credit, but it's nice to get a little bit of cash out of this thing as well. And you mentioned the championship scenarios, Tony. It's pretty simple. If one of the drivers wins the race, they win the championship, and it's 2 points between your top two. Ray would win a tiebreaker with more race wins. So if Tyler Hudson does not win the race, he needs a little bit of separation between himself and Ray Alfalla if it comes down to them maybe finishing, let's say, 3rd and 6th.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's got to be separated by 2+ points, basically 3 points. And like we saw at Atlanta back in 1992, Joe, everybody always seems to bring that race up, but that race and that championship came down to bonus points. This one could very well come down to bonus points as well.
This is going to come down to not more than that, though. It's about tenacity. It's about courage. It's about being intrepid and being able to make the race work for you.
We're going to go to Hot Laps now. Brian Blackford going to take us through what you expect here at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Hey iRacers, welcome back to Hot Laps, episode 18 at Homestead Miami Speedway, and we have quite a show for you guys tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this championship plays out, and I'm going to talk about Homestead for a little bit, but also talk about that points battle quite a bit.
Are you override?
Alright, here's a decent lap around Homestead with the fixed setup. Go into turn 1 really hard. With a neutral balanced car, you can run about a lane off the bottom. Right where that seam is, you want to put your left side tires right above that. There's a big bump off turn 2 that you got to look out for. Go down the backstretch. Hit turn 3, very similar to 1 and 2. Just hold one lane off the bottom and it'll be pretty quick. Don't be afraid to swing out very wide off the turn, because the higher you go, the more banking there is. Come to the line for a 30.988. When you get to the corner, there's so many different places you could run. It all depends on how your car is handling. If your car's too tight, you're better off running closer to the bottom of the track, and if you're a little bit too loose, it's better actually to run a little bit further up the track. For the most part, this track is really smooth. However, there's one bump off turn 2 that has got a lot of guys in trouble over the past couple years. If you exit the turn a little bit lower, you'll actually miss the bump more often than not. It's been pretty difficult to pass at Homestead. For the guy on the inside, it's kind of hard to get a run off the turn because the walls come up so quickly that it's hard to carry enough momentum to stay on the inside. This will make track position really important tonight. So I'm excited to talk about this championship battle. Tyler Hudson and Ray Alfalla are separated by 2 points going into tonight's race. Ray and Tyler both have had very successful seasons so far, but they have 2 totally different ways of getting to where they are now. Tyler has been extremely consistent and finished well in every race that he's run this season. Ray, on the other hand, he has several finishes outside the top 20, which is making this championship battle closer than it probably should be. Last week at Dover is a really good example. Ray was fighting inside the top 5 and got caught up in a wreck after Danny Hansen got loose in front of him. Ray started off the year with a very rough start at Daytona, while Tyler Hudson actually finished very well. They're going to race each other really hard tonight, but they're also going to race each other with a lot of respect. Both of these guys kept their nose clean throughout the season, and they're really deserving of being in the position they're in. I just want to take a few moments to thank everybody at iRacing. They started putting together an amazing service back in 2004. On top of everything that they've got going on, they took the time to put together these 2 World Championship Series this year. We honestly can't thank them enough for all that they do for this community. Season 2 of Hot Laps is complete. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Tim Terry's going to have the final call of the 2013 season. We got the Pro Series coming up in the next couple weeks. Not too long after that, we'll be back at Daytona. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you for the 2014 season.
So there you go. You get a little feel of this Homestead Miami Speedway with Hot Laps. Want to thank Brian Blackford and the entire crew over there at Snowcone Productions for putting that together all season long. Let's look at the point standings. Now, we mentioned the top 2 points with the drop. These drivers race throughout the season. They are allowed to drop their worst finish to go towards their point standing. So, Ray Alfalla, Tyler Hudson, 2 points between when you factor in the drop. Nick Ottinger is 3rd in points. Michael Conti, 4th, Brian Schoenberg in 5th, the 2 teammates from J-Show, 4th and 5th. When you look at the drop factored in, that's going to be a battle as well when you look at the championship picture. Marcus Lindsay, Tom Lewandowski, Peter Bennett, Kevin King, Byron Daly, top 10 when you include the drop. And then you look back, Tony, you have 11th through 20th right now, and these drivers are, right now as it appears, locked into the series for next season. You have Brandon Cattell, Matt Busa, Brad Davies, Carson McClellan, Joey Brown, Adam Gilliland, your Daytona winner from earlier in the season, Josh Lawton, Michael J. Johnson, Jake Sturgis, and Danny Hansen. Those are the top 20 drivers, and we look at the top 20 because they are locked in to the series next season. They don't have to run what we call the Nascar iRacing.com Pro Series, which is essentially the feeder series to the big show you see here every second Tuesday night. It's going to be exciting. There's a lot of talent in that Pro Series. We'll look at the names a little bit later that are outside that top 20 in the standings, and those drivers, they're up for a real big battle to try to get back into this series next year.
Yeah, they are, Tim, exactly, because now you not only have to worry about the World Championship, but yes, you have to worry about having a top 20 run in the equivalent of the Nationwide Series, the Pro Series here through iRacing, and as we've seen this season, there's a lot of up-and-coming drivers in that series that might knock you off the pedestal as well to work their way in to be the second half of the field in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. So, Joe, if you're in that top 20, like Tim said, it's a very big sigh of relief. But if you're on the outside looking in, this is really the race. You have to do nothing but prove yourself, and that's it. I mean, you're not going to race your way into the standings to where you need to be, but you can do one thing, and that's prove yourself and end up in victory lane.
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying a minute ago too. You know, this is a race where it's going to be about pride. It's going to be about positioning. You know, and even if you're outside that top 20, you still got the Pro Series to look forward to. You know, and a big win or a big finish here tonight can definitely give you a big boost of confidence going into that Pro Series. And you never know, that might just be exactly what you need to come back to the big show next year.
And the big show getting ready to go green here in about 4 minutes' time. I want to welcome in Nick Rend from Nascar. Nick, we're bouncing off the chip getting ready for this. This is the closest battle we've seen in series history. We've got Ray Alfalla, who's won the last two, and then we have the perennial underdog of Tyler Hudson getting ready to try to upseed that three-peat. I know you guys have to be happy with the way the season has gone on so far.
It's unbelievable. I can't even believe that we're in our 4th year of this. This racing is unbelievable. These guys keep getting better and better. And I said it last year when I joined the broadcast. At the same exact time, I didn't think our broadcast and the racing could get any better, but it keeps getting better and better. It's an awesome community to be a part of, and we're so pumped to see the racing this close. Ray's been an amazing champion. Tyler's been a beast here lately, and I can't wait to watch these laps unfold tonight.
We've seen some great battles, and Tony mentioned Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart a couple of years ago, and it kind of has that similarity sort of thing. The driver that goes out and wins the race could very well win the championship, and then you have to calculate everything else if they don't win the race. We've seen Richard Towler, we've seen Ray Alfalla. It could be Tyler Hudson making a new championship, but not only is it big for them, it's also the trip to Homestead, Miami. It's the whole experience that they get as well with the championship, isn't it?
It really is. It's an unbelievable experience for those that are listening and watching online. There's really nothing like it. I mean, these guys are really woven into the NASCAR fabric. We introduce them at pre-race in Miami. We go and hang out with them basically all weekend long in the suite around the track. The rest of the community is there hanging out with them, really celebrating not only the sport, but our eventual champion's victory there. But I'm really pumped to tell you guys a bit. I don't want to talk too much about it now and spoil the surprise about something else that we have going on this year at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And no, it's not a pitch or anything like that. It's something really cool that we're going to do with the champion this year too. So I'll tell you guys about that when we get a minute or two here.
And we are getting ready to go to the championship promo. So we'll keep everybody on the edge of their seats a little bit here before we do get into that. We'll have Nick Rend here in just a few moments' time. But let's get ready to build this up. It's Ray Alfalla. It's Tyler Hudson. It's $10,000. It goes green after this. So here we go, guys. Homestead, Miami Speedway, 167 laps. It's round number 18, the finale for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Tim Terry, Tony Stevens, and Joe Cortez here to bring you through 167 laps. And we'll begin by going down your 28-car starting grid for this evening's racing action. And on the pole for the finale, it's car number 83, Jarrett Crawford. To the outside, the Barley Electrical, number 12, Joey Brown.
Michael Conti starts third in the number 5, and Adam Gilliland will roll off on the outside of row number 2.
In the inside of row number 3, it's a 26 of Chad J. Lawton. On the outside of him, it's the man that could be your 3-time champion, the driver of the number 2 Pro Geek Consulting Ford Fusion, Ray Alfala.
The Oboto Gaming Cockpit's number 55 of Brian Schoenberg rolls off from position number 7 to the outside. Car number 91 in the Speedco colors, it's Josh Berry.
In this corner, the challenger, Tyler Hudson, the Ada Sign Wraps Ford. He will start 9th, and to his outside, the guy that's been on fire this season, the win leader in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, Nick Ottinger in the Ream Machine.
Kevin King in the number 29 Alpine Stars Chevrolet rolls off 11th. Outside of him, it's going to be Josh Lawton, the TC's Custom Diecast Chevy in the number 40 machine, rolls 12th.
Field begins to roll the Newtelligence Parker Kligerman Ford number 93. A Byron Daly rolls off from 13th to the outside, 69, Peter Bennett.
Michael J. Johnson in the 39 starts 15th, and Thomas Lewandowski in his number 16 ride starts 16th.
The 33 of Brian Blackford starts 17th on this field. Outside of him will be the 24 machine. That's Carson McClelland.
We got Brandon Cattell rolling off from position number 19. Completing your top 20 is the 20 of Danny Hansen.
Rob Ackley rolls 21st, and Brandon Bowie will start to his outside.
Stephen Gilbert rolls off 23 in the 37 machine. Outside of him, Matt Boosa in the 34 starts 24th.
Completing your field, Landon Harrison in the 89, Brian Day in the 4, Alex Warren 82, and welcome back to the series, Mr. Dumpy, John Gorlinski in the 21 will roll off from position number 28. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car leads our field through 3 and 4 with Jared Crawford and the JDR Graphics. Number 83 in tow, pace car, will make its hard left turn down onto pit road here, and we are getting ready for green for the finale, and Jared Crawford on the hammer. Green flag flies. It's going to be a battle for second off the hop with the 5 of Mike Conti to the inside of the 12 of Joey Brown.
Michael Conti trying to work his way forward and show us that talent that we thought maybe would have a shot at the championship at the beginning of the season. Unfortunately, circumstances haven't quite worked out, but look behind him, guys. Here comes Ray Alfala. He knows what he has to do. Win the race, the championship is his, but 5 cars behind him, Tyler Hudson in the exact same boat. In fact, the top 8-9 cars now, single file, as Alfala rides third in completion of lap 1. Joe, Tyler Hudson, being scored back in 8th.
166 laps left in this very long season. Double wide behind Tyler Hudson. That's Kevin King in the 29 machine. Behind him, Josh Berry. Now they start to form single file line. Byron Daly in the 93 is going to go ahead and go single file all the way back to the 05. There's single file. Battle is for 14 between the 39 of Michael J. Johnson and Brian Blackford in the 33 machine. Everyone else content to run single file. I think the gravity of the situation tonight is heavy on each of these drivers' minds.
Keep in mind, guys, you can't win on lap number 3. It's a 167-lap race, and that's what these drivers have in mind for a mentality. It's a 28-car field. A lot of these drivers getting single file and logging some laps. Byron Daly, 93, under fire from the 40 of Josh Lawton as they go side by side for 12th. And Tony, there is a driver as Nick Ottinger also makes his way underneath in the 05 car. The 93 of Byron Daly, there's a driver that's really seen a resurgence here in these last few weeks leading up to the finale. I know Byron's looking for a strong run here as you ride on board with the Newtelligence Ford Fusion.
Yeah, Byron's had a really good past couple of races, Tim, and I don't know if it's a new sponsor coming on board, that Newtelligence Energy shot, or actually I don't think it's a shot, but it's some sort of energy type beverage they've got. It's I guess they call it more like a focus shot, if you will, not energy, to where you actually, maybe it's helped his focus in the car. Don't really know, and quite frankly, I don't think Byron cares as long as he's running good, if you know what I mean, and he's doing that now inside the top 15. And speaking of having great runs, you look up here, Brian Schoenberg, Tyler Hudson. Of course, we've documented Tyler's good runs so far this season, challenging for the championship, and with this field, he is locked in second in the championship. He can do no worse than second, but look at Brian Schoenberg, Joe. I mean, he has had really a breakout season as well. Spectacular runs, and he's had some bad luck here and there, but he too has really had a really good race, or good season.
You run in car with the 0-1 machine of Tyler Hudson starting to inch his way around the 55 of Brian Schoenberg. Brian Schoenberg really has a breakout season this year. He's really shown his mettle. I mean, I've been a fan of him for years. I've been a fan of him for, back when him and I used to run Ascors, and another sim you might have heard of a long time ago. He's really earned his ability. He's really proven himself out here on the course. He's talked about not coming back next season, and I hope he does. I hope for his sake he does, because he's such a talented driver, and I think with a little bit more patience and a little bit more ability going his way, he might have a very good run next year, and he could really turn into something else. Meanwhile, back to the 0-1, Tyler Hudson starting to turn it up a little bit. He's putting the pedal down, picks up another position. He is now in 6th, and the man who could be champion, number 2 of Ray Alfala, jumps down to 4th.
And the 0-1 made the pass in the 26 of Chad Lawton, now looks up in the 81 of Adam Gill. And keep in mind, there's only one car now between those top 2 in the standings. You look at that car in front of Tyler Hudson, Adam Gilliland, and the Gary Mercer Trucking number 81. But keep in mind, it's got to be Tyler Hudson ahead of Ray Alfala if he wants to win this championship. And Tyler's starting to push a little bit harder to the front of the field. The 8 of Sign Wrap Sport underneath the Gary Mercer Trucking Chevrolet SS of Adam Gilliland down the back straightaway. And now Chad Lawton going to look at the 81 as Tyler Hudson completes the pass. And now it's clean air between himself and the 2 car of Ray Alfala. We come up at a 4, this time by 8 laps completed. Jarrett Crawford leads. You look at Ray Alfala running in the 4th place position right now.
Seems like the longest 8 laps we've had all season, guys. This is something I kind of worried about in the warm-up session. Mind you, a lot of these drivers didn't have a lot of time on the racetrack, but the little bit I did see, I saw Ray Alfala's car seem to be really, really good on a short run. He seemed to have speed for a couple of short bursts, but very quickly the lap times fell off. Tyler Hudson was kind of the inverse. He had a lot of speed, but not quite as much as Ray on the short run, but it didn't fall off as badly over 4 or 5 laps. I mean, that's not very indicative of what you can expect, but it certainly helps. But so far, it appears that might be the trend. Tyler Hudson didn't start off super fast like Ray did, but now Tyler Hudson is stalking his prey. Ray Alfala, one of those in the way, Joe. And right now, this is not what Ray wanted to see. The 0-1 machine at this juncture faster, and now looking to the inside down the front stretch.
Here comes Tyler Hudson. He's on the inside, has the jump on the number 2. Does he get the position? Survey says yes. Tyler Hudson in front of Ray Alfala. Score Alfala in 4th. Tyler Hudson will be in 4th. It's be Ray Alfala in 5th, and the game is afoot.
And now Tyler Hudson will try to close in and catch those drivers in front of him. Keep in mind that he has 1 point now on Ray Alfala. He needs 2 points to tie. We mentioned earlier, Ray Alfala has the tiebreaker on wins. So now Tyler Hudson ahead of the 2. He needs some separation, albeit we do have over 150 laps to go in this event. Jarrett Crawford, Mike Conti, and Joey Brown are your top 3, and they're about a second or so ahead of Tyler Hudson in the 0-1 car. And keep in mind here, Tony, when we look back to past championships, we see Ray Alfala with 2 championships. Oh yeah, he's done this before. He's raced for a championship. Keep in mind, he's had a lot bigger lead in those last 2 championships. Don't have it right in front of me, but it was double digits coming in to the race. So Ray could pretty much ride, but he did finish in the top 10, I do believe, in both of those races. So Ray knows how to get it done here at Homestead. Tyler Hudson hasn't had the finishes compared to Ray at Homestead the last 2 seasons, but it is the home track for Ray Alfala. He knows how to get around here as Chad Lawton looks underneath Adam Gilliland and move the Tim's Corner Motorsports number 26 up 1 more.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Tim. Ray has never been in this position. We know Tyler has never been in this position, but Ray has not either. And I don't want to compare Ray to Jimmy Johnson, but inevitably you're going to. Ray has been the dominant personality, the dominant driver in this series for the last 3 years for the most part. Yeah, he might not always be the guy in victory lane, but he's always the guy on top of the standings or near the top of the standings. And now, we've seen a couple of times, Joe, in the recent past where Jimmy Johnson has come to Homestead and had to race well to win a championship, such as last year. And I'm not going to say that, that they choked, but things happened that prevented them from winning a championship that were well within their control. Ray Alfala might be in the same boat to where this pressure he has, he might have all the pressure. Tyler Hudson's already said, look, I got second locked up. and I'm just thrilled to be here. So it might be one of those deals of Ray Alfalla, Joe, could be his own worst enemy here.
Brian Blackford in the 33 machine now on pit road. Lots of damage on that car. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make an unscheduled pit stop, and it's gonna take a lot of damage out there, a lot of time to repair all that damage on that machine. His night might be, for all intents and purposes, done out there as he continues to sit on pit road. Currently scored 1 lap down. Will probably be several more before he gets back out there.
Yeah, it looks like the 80 may have taken the air off the back bumper of the 33 of Brian Blackford. Blackford heavy into the fence. I don't think Cattell hit anything in the 80. No caution comes out for that one, surprisingly. It goes into the infield. There's no caution on that wreck. But a tough break for Brandon Cattell and a tough break for Brian Blackford as Crawford has pressure from the main performance PC number 5 of Mike Conti for the lead position. Conti hounding the 83 down the back straightaway, looking to take away the lead position as Ray Alfalla gets a little loose.
Caution is out. First caution of the night, Josh Lawton. Looks like he is going to be the one that brings it out as we exited turn number 2, the TC's custom diecast machine. And that was right in that group. He was in the 11th spot. He and Adam Gilliland got together. And Joe, we were just getting ready to point out that Ray Alfalla is kind of holding that group up. He was the slowest car of those 7 or 8 machines right there in line. And you can see it here. It looks like they all checked up coming down the 2. Josh Lawton goes around. A big break for Ray Alfalla, but certainly I think cause for concern in the 2 pits.
You see the replay right there. It looks like the 40 nowhere to go with the remachine in front of him, and that's going to cause him to get up and into brake check, get pulled into the wall, and that is going to hurt that machine. 40 will have some damage. He's going to have to come down pit road to get repairs. Meanwhile, everybody now coming to the attention of their crews, and this is going to be a critical stop for both the 0-1 and the 2, as I'm sure for both those machines, a couple of adjustments might be warranted.
Now we'll see what kind of adjustments these drivers do make down on pit road as the 83 leads the 5, the 12, the 01, and the 2 down onto pit road. Jarrett Crawford will come across the stripe on pit road, lead that lap, complete lap number 18 as he works down to the end of pit road. The JDR Graphics number 83 going to roll into his box, and the virtual crew will go to work, and they'll take at least 2 right side tires. We'll see if they opt for 4, or if anybody does gamble on 2 tires. 2 tires for Ray Alfalla. He wins the race off pit road, and it looks like Conti may be second off pit road. The 83 is going to lose 2 or 3 here, Tony.
Absolutely, and that's big news for Ray Alfalla. That 1-point gap, assuming when he comes back around, is now going to be back to a 2-point gap. Ray Alfalla has now, or will, it appears, lead a lap. Tyler Hudson has yet to do so. Still a long way to go, so that might end up being a moot point, but nonetheless, big moment here for Ray Alfalla. I'll be very curious if 2 tires, though, can hold up.
But more importantly here, Tony, not only can 2 tires hold up, but did he make the adjustments he needed to get that 2 car faster on the longer run? You saw him struggling in that first long green flag run, that first 19-lap green flag run. You saw him struggling. You saw him holding up that pack behind him. So I've got a feeling that in addition to the tires, there had to be an adjustment made on that 2 machine. He's got to be trying everything he can to make sure he gets the points he needs, to win this championship. If you're going to roll the dice, there is no better place to do it than Homestead, Miami. And I've got a feeling we're going to see Ray Alfalla and Tyler Hudson do some dice rolling tonight.
And there it is. Ray Alfalla leads 1 lap. There's 1 extra bonus point. Tyler Hudson will be scored in 5th as they come off pit road with the 2 tires. Going to be interesting to see what happens here on this restart. Okay, Nick Rend, we kept everybody in suspense long enough. Let's talk about what the champion may receive. And you mentioned the NASCAR Hall of Fame there. What's up?
So this year, in addition to the $10,000 and the recognition at the race at Homestead, Miami, we have something special lined up for whoever the champion may be, and it's going to come down to what I think is going to be the last few laps here in this race. This is definitely a moment here. We're going to be recognizing the champion with all of the rest of our champions here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in the first week of December. So not only are we going to have the guys in Homestead, Miami celebrating on pre-race, we're going to be with all the other champions here in Charlotte celebrating our 2013 NASCAR iRacing Series champion with all the other Touring Series champions. So it's truly going to be a championship moment for this guy, and we're super pumped about it. It's something we've been trying to pull off for a few years now, and for this guy to be able to celebrate with other racing peers is going to be truly a special moment, and something that I don't think you're going to be able to put a value on.
That's going to be awesome, and I know the NASCAR Hall of Fame is a great venue for that, and of course you mentioned the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series and the Touring Series as well, going to be celebrating as well. It's going to be an awesome night for either Ray Alfalla or Tyler Hudson, and we're getting ready to go back to green. Nick, enjoy this race. It's going to be exciting, and I know you're waiting for a great finish too.
Guys, thank you. This has been a great year, great season. These guys are true champions, regardless of where they finish, and I hope everybody is enjoying the broadcast.
That's Nick Rend from NASCAR, and Tony, that's pretty exciting to go down and be able to celebrate at the banquet like that. I know I was at the NASCAR Hall of Fame a couple years ago just to go see the place. Being from Canada, you don't really get to see a whole lot of opportunity like that. I know you live right down the road essentially, but it's a pretty cool venue as a tourist per se to go see. If you've never been to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, you have to do it. But for Ray Alfalla or Tyler Hudson, it just is that little bit of icing on the cake.
Yeah, it really legitimizes what you accomplish here to be down there with the likes of, a Sprint Cup Series champion, a Modified Series champion like Georgie Brunhosel, a K&N Pro Series champion, a Nationwide champion. You get the idea. You're there on the same stage with all of those drivers. You have legitimized your racing career, and it legitimizes sim racing in itself as well, as the green flag is out, and look at Ray Alfalla take off, but look at Tyler Hudson. Just right there, digging on the bottom underneath Jared Crawford. Move Hudson now up to fourth. And again, the tire hammer, Joe, of Ray Alfalla might come back to bite him here, or it might be a really good move. We'll find out as these laps click away.
The 83 having some troubles out there. The 05 of Nick Ottinger getting the move on Jared Crawford. Brian Schoenberg and Kevin King now hooked up and trying to make a big finish out here as well. Make a big splash on this field. They will easily dispatch Chad Lawton.
Oh, Ray Alfalla! Sorry there, guys, but Ray just about got in the outside wall. Nearly came back down to Tyler Hudson. Michael Conti to the point, Alfalla back to fourth, and here comes Nick Ottinger. The gap now 1 point. The gap now is Jared Crawford on the verge of being no points. Ho-ho, Ray Alfalla, watch out. This might be large, guys.
This might not be the adjustment he was looking for, as he's still having trouble there on the high side. Alfalla gets passed by Crawford. Now it's Schoenberg going to get by him to increase that gap. Kevin King behind him. This is only getting worse. The number 2 machine, Alfalla, trouble looking on track.
Caution flag will fly for the second time here this evening, and it's the 20 and a 39. Danny Hansen and Michael Johnson in the infield, and they will get it right again. Damage to the right rear corner of the Focus Eyewear number 20, and it looks like a little bit of left rear damage to the Fast Track Sims JDR Graphics number 39. So you saw that, what happened there, Tony? What transpired between those two cars?
It looked like just really good hard racing, Tim, for the most part, but I think Michael J. Johnson was trying to get out from behind John Gorlinski and Thomas Lewandowski and didn't realize that Danny Hansen was down there, cranked the wheel hard left on exit and got into the number 20 machine of Hansen. And, of course, Hansen really was trying to give him a lane and didn't expect him to come down, and that's when those two tangled and both ended up on the inside wall. But, Joe, if you're Ray Alfalla, this is good news. This is the gauze, the Band-Aid to stop the bleeding of what just nearly happened up front.
This is exactly what you needed if you are Ray Alfalla. Right now, points-wise, he is 2 points outside of that championship. So Alfalla, check out 1 point outside of that championship. So Alfalla needs to figure it out. He needs to either make a new adjustment or possibly get 2 more tires on that Pro Geek Consulting Ford Fusion. This is exactly what he needed. This is exactly what he was hoping for. Maybe not to those necessary drivers per se, but this is exactly the boon he needed to stop the bleeding, to stop the backward slide, and try to figure out what really is going on with that number 2 machine. $10,000 on the line and a 3rd ring for Ray Alfalla. This arguably is the biggest night of his racing career.
And I know there's a lot of drivers out here that don't really want to be, quote-unquote, that guy, Tony, that possibly gets into a championship contender or holds up a championship contender. Mike Conti got into Ray Alfala going into turn number 1 to really set that off. And it took Ray the 2 laps to really get him underfoot. And then the caution flag comes out that helps him a lot as well. It's tough for those drivers, but if you're Ray Alfala and if you're Mike Conti is one of the nicest sportsman-like drivers we have in this series, Tony. I know he doesn't want to be that guy, but it almost transpired.
It came pretty doggone close, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Ray maybe was almost in desperation mode already, and that's not a good thing when you're taking 2 tires. Now don't get me wrong, if you're going to try it early so you know if it works or if it doesn't work. So Ray's pulling something a little, out of the hat as far as strategy goes to put in the bank and use for later. But I think we all know 2 tires will not get the job done, evidenced by Ray Alfala's slide there in that brief little run. You talk, though, Tim, about championships, and nobody wants to be that guy that screws it up. Look back to Byron Daly. Now, Byron, of course, very good friends with Parker Kligerman. And Parker has been in this exact same situation a couple of years ago at Rockingham Speedway. It was Parker Kligerman that had to go out, win the race, and then have a little bit of luck to help him win a championship. If you remember the story, Parker went out, dominated the afternoon in his Cunningham car, won the race, like his 6th or 7th race of the season. Justin Lofton was mired back in about 6th or 7th with a car that didn't handle properly. There were probably, arguably, 3 or 4 cars behind Lofton that could have passed him, that probably should have passed him if you asked Parker Kligerman. Well, guess what? They didn't. Kenny Schrader and a couple others, and what did they say? They said, I didn't want to affect the championship. So that's the other thing you have to look out for, Joe. Who's not going to pass Ray Alfala because they don't want to affect the championship? But if you ask me, if you have a bad race car, your job is to fix it. And if you have a good race car, I'm sorry. If the championship contender is in front of you, your job is still to pass him.
I wholeheartedly concur with that statement, Tony Stevens. This is exactly why NASCAR put in the new competition rules about drivers, giving 100% at every opportunity. If you have a car that's slower in front of you, I think you have an obligation, if not to your fans, if not to the sponsors, then to yourself, to compete to the highest level of your ability and get around that car. It doesn't mean wreck them. It doesn't mean use the chrome horn to get around them. It just means find a way to get around them and run the best race that you can out there on the field. Now, that being said, with so much going on, will a lot of drivers take that risk? Not necessarily. But you know what? That's okay. It's big-time racing, as we say, and I think we're going to see a lot of it tonight. Lights are off on the pace car. We're half a lap left to go before we're back to green flag racing. Michael Conti, Joey Brown on the front row.
And Brian Blackford also received the free pass on that caution. He has currently scored 1 lap down to position number 28. Danny Hansen also scored as 1 lap down. Now, the question is, Tyler Hudson sits in 3rd on this restart. He's got Mike Conti and Joey Brown in front of him. How hard does Tyler Hudson push to get that 1 lap lead, get that extra point, and put that in the bank? Something that Ray Alfala has already that he does not. We'll see how hard he pushes here on this run. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car into pit road right here, and the 5 of Mike Conti in control. 28 completed. Green flag flies. Conti is gone. Brown does not get going on the outside bump from the Ream 05 of Ottinger, and here comes Hudson. Hudson to the inside of the 12. He will look to pick up 2nd, and here comes the 83 of Jarrett Crawford along with the 05 and 5, the freight train lining up on the inside of Joey Brown.
That they are, and Brown up the racetrack. This racetrack, it's really kind of unique the way you drive this racetrack, and it's very, very momentum dependent, and it doesn't seem that way. When you look at the racetrack, you think it's a 1.5 mile racetrack, just go, drive it in the corner, pick the throttle back up, and let her eat. No, this is a finesse racetrack. It's a really hard racetrack to get a hold of, Joe, and Joey Brown with that slow start, it really, really hurt him because, yes, he wasn't able to carry that momentum into 1 and 2 and then back down the back straightaway. Luckily for him, he's able to get back in 3rd, but that's also something else to put in the bank, knowing what Michael Conti does and does not do in a restart, Joe, because Tyler Hudson right now is starting to close in on him. He might want to use some of those tricks as well.
And the more positions he gets up front, the more he works to get out there, the more and increase that gap, the easier it's going to be for him to claim this champion. The 05 of Nick Ottinger gets around Jared Crawford to score the 05 machine in fourth. Jared Crawford back down to fifth. Brian Schoenberg now in sixth. And Ray Alfala in seven, trying to figure out how he's going to get around the 55 of Brian Schoenberg.
And we also have single file cars behind them. Chad Lawton, Byron Daly, Kevin King, and the rest of the field essentially single file snaking around this racetrack. Two looking at 55 at a corner number 4. Did not get the pass set up. Alfala in the Pro Geek Consulting number 2. Brian Schoenberg in the Obuto Gaming Cockpits number 55. They both close in on the 83 at Jarrett Crawford as he's falling off the back bumper of the 05 of Nick Ottinger. Down the back straightaway, lap 32 being worked on the board as Alfala tries to work up a little closer here to that number 55 of Schoenberg. That is for position number 6.
And Alfala, again, remember, 2 tires. And the other thing that we really didn't get a chance to really discuss here, Joe, before that first caution flag, Alfala was holding up the group in front of him by a good half a tenth of a second. So the 2 car was not very fast compared to those around him. I mean, really, out of that entire group, he was the slowest car and easily a 10th place car in that first run. You talked about on those pit stops. Did he make adjustments? And at this point, at this juncture, I'm not exactly seeing a car from Ray Alfala that looks like he made any adjustments, or if he did, he didn't take a big enough swing.
I think you're absolutely right. If Ray Alfala did make adjustments, he needs to take a much bigger swing next time around. He has to drive like there's nothing, nothing's holding him back. Because frankly, there isn't a whole lot back. Nick Ottinger now looking around the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. Tyler Hudson in second. Nick Ottinger is hungry out there. He is hunting down the lead. You see him get close there to the 0-1, almost dangerously close to the bumper. He's going to push the 0-1 to the lead. No, he's going to slingshot off his bumper. Now he's inside, looking for position number 2. Got it. Tyler Hudson back to third. Nick Ottinger up to second.
And Hudson's going to stop the bleeding. He's going to move into position number 3. And it looks like he's looking back at the 05 possibly here of Ottinger as they go down the back straightaway, putting pressure on the Ream number 05. The 5 of Conti leads this 3-car train. And don't look now, the 12, the 83, they're bringing along a couple of friends as well. Down the front straightaway, Ottinger to the inside of the 5, side by side for the lead, and Nick Ottinger goes to the point. The 01 of Hudson looking to the inside. Hudson trying to get to the quarter panel of the main performance. PC 5, almost a little bit of contact. 12 to the outside, 83 to the outside, and here comes the 55 as well. The 01 trying to find a spot in line here.
That was almost large for Tyler Hudson, but I think better judgment prevailed now. Here's the situation Tyler finds himself in. Now he's tied with Ray Alfala if the racers finish as they run now. But look back now. Ray Alfala starting to slide back. Here comes Chad Lawton and Byron Daly into the picture, trying to get by that Pro Geek Consulting machine. And you know, Ray's got some big fans watching tonight as well. He's got his friends in iRacing Brazil who are carrying this race. Of course, his Pro Geek, his main sponsor, Pro Geek Consulting. Even our friends at DisabledRacers.com helping out Ray Alfala this season. Right now, they need to put something in the tank for Ray Alfala because he is stuck on the outside, sliding backwards. Tyler Hudson just reclaimed third in the process.
So many international partners and national partners who want to, that are watching the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. You're watching it here at PSR TV. You're watching it on MotorRacingNetwork.com, the voice of NASCAR. You're watching it on NESN. You're greetings to our friends in Brazil, watching it from iRacing Brazil. There's so many eyes tonight on this championship. So many eyes tonight on this event out here, and the gravity of it. I keep using that word, the gravity, because that's the only thing I can think of to describe how big tonight's event is. You ride in car now with a 0-1 of Tyler Hudson in third, riding behind Joey Brown. He's back up to third. He looks bouncing around. He looks like he wants second, but he needs a little help. He needs to figure out how he's going to get around that 12, and he needs to make sure he doesn't make the mistake he made a couple laps ago.
Yeah, he's looking for position number 2 right now. He was on the back bumper of the 12, and now there's a little bit of space between the 12 and the 01, about a car length or so as they run down the front straightaway here going into corner number 1 on lap number 40. I don't know if we mentioned it yet or not, guys, but Ray Alfala has fallen back to position number 10 Byron Daly, Kevin King, Chad Lawton have passed the number 2 car. So a little more separation between the 3rd and 10th place cars right now, as the 26 of Chad Lawton gets a little bit loose. Kevin King closes in. As you look at Ray Alfala, he is chasing down Byron Daly, Kevin King, and Chad Lawton. And you never know, Ray Alfala might need one of those Newtelligence focus shots there as he's riding along with that Newtelligence 93.
He very well might, because I think right now he's seeing nothing but red as Tyler Hudson continues to get farther and farther away from that number 2 machine, and for that matter, everybody else is as well. This is not the showing Ray Alfala wanted. And I think, Joe, if you're Tyler Hudson, like a lot of these drivers do, you've got some spotters in the sim with you, telling you what's going on, keeping you alert of everything as the race progresses. I think if you're Tyler Hudson's spotter right now, or somebody on a team with him, as here he goes by Joey Brown up to 2nd, somebody is on the radio telling you, okay, Ray's having an off night. Don't force the issue. Don't do anything stupid. Right now, if the race finished as you run, the championship is yours. So Tyler, I'm sure, is going to be aware of this. And one thing we've seen from Tyler Hudson this season, and I've been very impressed from this young man, because in the past, he got trouble on the racetrack. As we've got car around that is John Gorlinski in the back straightaway, Landon Harrison catching a piece of it. But to finish the thought real quick, Joe, used to be Tyler Hudson would tear up a lot of equipment and he would go too much too soon. He's really matured this season, and this might be the culmination of it.
The 21 of John Gorlinski, Dumpy gets dumped out there, nowhere to go for him, gets loose into the outside wall again, spins it down into the grass, nose first into the inside retaining wall, and that will be the end of the season for John Gorlinski, number 21 machine, getting it towed behind the wall, and that is done. It is now time for pit stops, and guess what? Everybody's going to come down to the attention of their crews.
So we will see where the 0-1 goes. Does he push a little harder on pit road here? Where is Nick Ottinger's box? He will be looking for that 1 bonus point here, I'm pretty sure. As you see Nick try to get up and slow down a little bit there, trying to get a little bit of separation between himself and Tyler Hudson. The 12 of Joey Brown, the 5, everybody's down on pit road on this opportunity. We'll see if anybody, Tony Stevens takes 2 tires. We saw that with Ray Alfala on the first stop. Didn't really work out well.
No, it really didn't, and now here comes Ottinger and Hudson pitted side by side into their boxes. Everybody else towards the back of the running order coming in as well. It appears it's going to be 4 tires for everybody on pit road. Nobody trying 2 tires. Ottinger down and away, Hudson down and away right on his tail, so not much is going to change there. Here comes Joey Brown out to 2nd, just ahead of Tyler Hudson, and Ray Alfala is still deep in the running order.
Alfala looked like he took a little bit of extra time out there, might have made another adjustment. He's got to, and he's, if you're Ray Alfala, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain right now. You got to make that big swing. You got to just take it and see where the car takes you. He will pull out right behind the number 93 of Byron Daly. So Ray Alfala should be back in position number 10. Josh Berry, the 91, in 11th. Thomas Lewandowski picks up position as well. But everybody up front now, all eyes are on that group up front. Tyler Hudson loses a position to Joey Brown. He will move back down to 3rd, which could make for some very interesting racing when we go back to 2-line racing in a lap and a half or so.
So Ottinger with a very quick pit stop. Joey Brown will line up in 2nd, as we mentioned. The 0-1 of Tyler Hudson is there. Scoring's going to loop this time by, and we're going to see Tyler Hudson back to 3rd. We're also going to see Ray Alfala move a little bit here, I do believe, as the 2 car. Going to sit in 11th place, so just outside the top 10. And there's that separation once again, Tony. These restarts can get very intense as well. We saw Tyler Hudson on that last restart move up to 2nd, but couldn't get that lap led, couldn't get that bonus point. And now with Nick Ottinger leading, there's no quit in the definition or in the vocabulary for Nick Ottinger. It's going to be hard for Tyler Hudson to at least get it on the racetrack from him.
No, I agree. It's going to be very, very difficult. And to be completely honest with you, this is kind of the scenario I imagine coming into tonight, simply because Nick Ottinger has been so dominant all season, particularly on the mile and a half. He has been so good. Whatever they've found recently has just propelled him to the front of the field and then some. So I kind of expected it would be one of those deals of Tyler needs to have 2 or 3 cars between himself and Ray Alfalla. And I'm wondering if maybe if Ray kind of realized the same thing, and that was his thought process when he took the 2 tires earlier to try to get that extra insurance point, every point he could possibly get here early in the going. You never know, Joe. That 1 extra point might make the difference between winning a championship and $10,000 and having to settle for second.
Well, as you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, though, too, Tony, how many championships have come down to that extra bonus point? How many championships have come down to tiebreakers? Every point counts. Every opportunity counts. You don't have a second chance tonight. You can't have a bad race and scrap it up and say, we'll get at them next week. It's all or nothing tonight. You either come in, you win the championship, or you go home. Either way, walking away with a little bit of cash ain't a bad thing. But it isn't $10,000, it isn't the trip to Homestead, Miami, and it isn't the recognition at the NASCAR Hall of Fame with the rest of the NASCAR champions.
And $3,000 is a nice chunk of change for position number 2, but it's not what Joe mentioned, everything that comes along with being the champion of this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Tyler Hudson right now in a 3rd and would be in championship position, but we still have 2/3 of this race and a little bit of change to run at Homestead Miami Speedway. Still a long way to go. Nick Ottinger in the 05, your win leader this season. Regardless how this season ends, he will come out as the driver to win the most races in this season. He's looking to pocket one more here at Homestead. Joey Brown on the outside. Hudson, Conti, Crawford. Your top 5 pace car going to dive in here. 46 laps completed, and the Rheem Gale Force suspension 05 is gone. The 12 getting a little bit of a bump from the 5 of Conti. The 01 really didn't get going either. The only one that got going is Ottinger. He's gone. It's side by side for second, and here comes the 8 assigned wraps forward on the inside. Tyler Hudson to second, and Joey Brown to third.
Not a big surprise there. We've seen the inside line always be going to restarts here at Homestead because you can move that guy up the hill a little bit, kind of what Tyler Hudson did right there. But like you said, Tim, Nick Ottinger just took off, and he was shot out of a cannon on that restart. I think that the leader has a very distinct advantage on the restarts here, Joe, especially if you're able to bring him down so slow. And with that wide restart zone you've got here at Homestead, Nick Ottinger can push the button whenever he wants, and before anybody really realizes what's happening, he's gone. Here you see Ray Alfalla and Kevin Keane going at it, Joe, and it looks like Ray trying to make a charge back towards the front.
Daly giving the push to the 2 of Ray Alfalla. He's got a nose on the 29, but the 29 not going to give it up so quickly. The 2 forced to take it, and there he goes. Score him now, and he crosses the line in position number 9. The 26 is coming in for an unscheduled pit stop this time by. We'll have to keep an eye on what happens with him, but right now, Ray Alfalla, it looks like he's got his second wind out there. It looks like he may have gotten figured out what was going on with that 2 machine, and now he's trying to hunt the 69 of Peter Bennett. You're watching on the roof there of Ray. He's getting close. He's looking at it. Now he's starting to nose down. He's looking a lot better now with 4 tires, and the game has once again changed.
Yeah, it looks a little more stable for that number 2 of Ray Alfalla as he looks up at the 69 of Peter Bennett. Chad Lawton in front of him in the number 26, running in position number 7. Josh Lawton was the one that made the unscheduled pit stop. The TC's Custom Diecast number 40 is down on pit road and scored in 26th place. As we work lap number 50 on the racetrack, 50 completed this time by. Ottinger has about a 4-car length lead on Tyler Hudson, and then it's single file behind with somebody, it looks like, Tony, at this point, at least throughout your top 10, somebody looking to see a mistake in front of the car in front of them and maybe make that position that way. We still have a long ways to go here.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. And this is the type of racetrack, like we talked about earlier, where it is sometimes very hard to pass. Yes, they've got progressive banking, but you see almost everybody runs in the exact same spot. It's a very, very touchy racetrack. You very passively and aggressively charge these corners. Kind of hard to explain, but in other words, you don't use a lot of brake. You just kind of float the car in there. More brake really slows you down, and then as quick as you can, you ease back in the throttle to get back around the corner and on the exit. Both ends very different, but it's very dependent sometimes on having somebody make a mistake in front of you. And there you see Ray Alfalla now get another spot, this time away from Peter Bennett, to move Ray up to 8th right now. As that gap now, what is that, Joe? Let's see, 3-point gap now. Benefit Hudson.
3-point gap benefit Hudson. I feel like we're calling a political race all of a sudden, where we're calculating points and figuring out how things sway if A turns into B. Alfala now up to 8, starting to climb that salmon ladder, and now it looks like he's hit a wall a little bit. He got around 69 with a little bit of strategic planning. He needs that 69 to give him the push to catch up to the 26 of Chad Lawton. And then we're talking about a brand new race as he clicks down position after position. Tyler Hudson right now absolutely content to ride in second. Joey Brown in third. Jared Crawford, Michael Conti, they've all got to start worrying about the presence of the number 2 and when he starts making the moves.
And Tyler Hudson has to worry about Joey Brown, because Brown on the back bumper, the 8 assign wraps 0-1 for position number 2, as Brown going to look for the second place spot. Ottinger gone by about a half second in front of this battle for position number 2. And there's another driver who's really had a breakout season, Tony. Joey Brown comes up from the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. You ride on board with the Barley Electrical number 12. Won a race earlier in the season and really put himself forward as a driver to contend with on this iRacing service. A great season for Joey Brown, and trying to finish it off strong here as he closes in on the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. Lost a little bit here in the last lap or so. It's still about a car length between your top 2.
Yeah, Joey's had a great season. Like you said, really made a name for himself. He's had solid runs. He's been up front. He's sat on poles. He's only won, I believe, like you said, one race, but he's been in contention. And I think that's the biggest thing that any driver looks for in their first season, is to be in contention, be competitive, and not have this really huge learning curve that's bigger than what it already is to move from the Pro Series up to the World Championship. And right now, here he is in the championship race, running in third with one of the championship contenders right in front of him, and the wins leader 2 cars in front of him. So yeah, Joey Brown, not too shabby of a season by any means, Joe. And now look, this is just what we saw earlier. Well, I thought maybe Tyler Hudson was giving Joey Brown that spot. Maybe not. Looks like maybe handling issues starting to creep up on the Tyler Hudson machine.
Entirely possible. When you're running at that level and you're running incredibly fast out here, it makes it a whole lot harder to keep the tires underneath it and keep it moving. You see right now off the back bumper of the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson, that's Joey Brown with the big bow tie in your camera. He wants to make the move. He's trying to position himself in order to do it. He's not going to make a terse move. He's not going to do something that's going to jeopardize him or the 0-1 right this moment. Another guy that's had really just a breakout season as your leader right now, the 0-5 of Nick Ottinger. He's won the most races out here. He's looking to score one more to that. We talked to him a couple weeks ago when he was in victory lane, and he said now it's just about winning. It's just about having fun and having a good time. Nick Ottinger is going to be a name you're going to want to remember. If he keeps running like this, he may be your next NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion.
Down the front straightaway, 58 laps completed this time by the 12, closing back in on the 0-1, and it looks like they may be pulling away a little bit from Jared Crawford in the 83, who runs about 3 car lengths behind the 12 in position number 4, and then Mike Conti completing your top 5 right now in the number 5, and Conti unsure of his plans for next season. Tony, it's hard to call a teenager retiring from a NASCAR series, but Mike Conti weighing his options for next year. And of course, when you're young, you discover school and girls and all these other things that happen in teenage years. So we'll see what happens with Mike Conti in these next couple of seasons. But as you mentioned off the top of the show, the 5 car was one of those drivers coming in. We thought, hey, he could be contending for this championship, misses the field at Daytona, and then comes back and starts lighting it up essentially.
Yeah, he did, but like you said, Tim, a lot of times when you're that age, different things get your attention, be it girls or school or a real job or whatever. It's kind of weird for saying that about guys running for $10,000 for a championship, but we are. And sometimes guys will take this iRacing sim as a launch pad and launch themselves into a physical race car. You never know. Oh, Joey Brown, I think, got the wall out of turn number 2. Oh, wow, that was almost large. Here comes the 83 of Jared Crawford by. Looks like maybe Joey Brown was pushing that car a little more than he anticipated, Joe.
Meanwhile, back in the field, the 2 of Ray Alfala. It looks like somebody just tied an anchor on that Pro Geek Consulting Ford Fusion. He is not he's not being able to stay competitive. He is losing the 55 of Brian Schoenberg very, very quickly, it appears. And Ray Alfala, he needs some help out there. I don't know what's going on with that 2 machine. He needs some help. The 69, the Peter Bennett, now trying to look at advantage of it. Electrical problems with the 69.
And he will come back. He is underneath the number 2. Now the 93 of Byron Daly picks up the spot on Ray Alfala. And we saw it a little bit earlier, Tony. We mentioned those 2 different tire strategies, but the same thing keeps coming up. He's good for maybe 10, 15 laps, and then the thing just falls off the face of the earth, essentially. He's lost 2 spots here. He's back to position number 10. And now with Tyler Hudson up in position number 2, he has yet to lead a lap, albeit there's 0.8 of a second between your top 2 drivers up there. Ray Alfala not in the place he wants to be right now, because not only did he lose those 2 spots, he's got Kevin King behind him. Josh Berry isn't too far back either, I don't think. And looking back at that, there's actually a little bit of gap between Kevin King, Matt Busa, and the rest of the field. But right now he's got Kevin King. Then he's got a little bit of time to maybe try to reset his sights.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Ray Alfala's car, and a couple times I've seen that car bobble on entry, particularly in turn number 1, and start its way up the hill. And it's almost starting to look like that car is so free on entry that it's making it tight in the center, and then it's also tight on exit. While Ray tried to get forward drive, he maybe got a little too much, and that loose end problem isn't helping things by any means. So Ray's got his hands full right now, and I don't know, Joe, if he can easily fix that problem on pit road. I think it's something he's going to have to do in the garage, but unfortunately that's something he can't do now. He's going to have to find some way to beat Tyler Hudson tonight, and I got a feeling it's not going to be straight up man-on-man. He's going to have to use strategy or something to stay ahead of that 01 machine the way things look right now.
And you have to remember that Ray Alfala is a thinker. That's how he wins his championships. It's not by brute force. It's not by strength. It's by just being able to outthink his opponent and make it work. Kevin King in the 29 gives almost a shove to Ray Alfala. Alfala gives him position. Alfala now down to 11. He's digging himself a deep hole, and he needs some help if he wants to get out.
Yeah, he's going to have to find some speed here in the second half of this race. We are coming up on 101 laps to go as we complete lap number 66 right now for your leaders. Ottinger has gapped about another 10th on Tyler Hudson up in front of the field. It's 0.8, or a little over 0.8 of a second between your top 2 with Jarrett Crawford. Joey Brown has found a place to ride in position number 4, but he is being chased down by Mike Conti. And it looks like, Tony, one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack outside maybe your leader might be that 26 of Chad Lawton. Made the move a few laps ago on Brian Schoenberg, and he has reeled in the 12 and the 5. The 26 car might be one of the faster cars in the racetrack outside of maybe Nick Ottinger and Tyler Hudson.
Yeah, I think you're right, and he has been kind of doing the same thing here towards what I guess would really be the middle part of a run. We haven't really had a full tire or fuel run yet, but what would be the middle part of the run, that 26 car has really found some speed, or maybe not so much found it as hasn't lost as much as everybody else. And it's funny here at Homestead, I've done it on iRacing here in league races and so on and so forth. Everybody's equal for so long, and then all of a sudden the guys that took care of their equipment just go forward. They don't really go any faster. They're doing about the same speed, but everybody else burns the tires off and they start going backwards. That might be the case for Chad Lawton and that 26 machine.
This is a track where you absolutely need to take into consideration tire management and tire wear strategy. If you do not, you will burn up those tires quickly, and you will find yourself not being able to grip the track as well, and you will go backwards very, very quickly. You're right now on the roof of the 5 machine. That's Michael Conti. Is trying to make something. He's trying to stay in position out there, try to make it work. Meanwhile, Ray Alfala once again getting past. This time it's with 34 of Matt Busa and the 91 of Josh Berry. Alfala down to 13th, and the mine shaft keeps getting deeper.
Yeah, he's being closed in by the 82, former Pro Series champion of Alex Warren in the core pipe, number 82. To the inside he goes of the 2 car, and he'll pick up one more spot. Adam Gilliland will look to pick up one more spot as well. And the Gary Mercer truck, number 81, will pick this one up here, I believe. And this is really uncharacteristic of what we've been seeing at Ray Alfala the last 2.5 years. Running right now in 15th place as Adam Gilliland takes that spot and puts Alfala back to P15. He needs to find something and find something quick. If not, Tyler Hudson's taking this championship.
Yeah, this is certainly not what Ray Alfalla wanted to see, and this is really the longest run we've seen all night long. And, you know, we thought maybe earlier it was the two tires coming back to biting. They're on equal terms now, guys. They've got 4 tires and balanced race cars the way that they wanted them after that pit stop. And, again, don't know as you watch and ride on board with Ray Alfalla, just look at him, having to float that car in, which is typical here, but that car just does not want to turn. He's off the gas for so long. It's tight on exit, so he has to wait on it even more, and it's just an absolute handful for Ray Alfalla. Everybody closing in on him on entry. The car free in, tight in the center, and tight off, it appears right now for Ray Alfalla. That is disaster here at Homestead. As here it looks like now, maybe even Carson McClellan going to get by Ray Alfalla. I never thought I'd say it, Joe, but Ray is almost on the verge of being knocked out of the top 15.
He might be trying to save fuel. He might be trying some other strategy out there. All we know is Alfalla now officially outside of the top 15 as the 24 of Carson McClellan gets around him, and here comes Brian Day. He gets around him as well. Alfalla down to 17. This is not where he wants to be. He cannot do it. Everyone's speculating. He is trying to save fuel. There's something going on out there. Less than 95 laps left to go at this juncture. His championship may be at the mercy of Tyler Hudson.
12 car going backwards as well after hitting the wall. Joey Brown, it looks like he's got a little bit of damage possibly to that race car, because Byron Daly passed him like he was standing still. As you see the 12 car on your screen, the Barley Electrical number 12, and there's the damage to the right-hand side of that race car, and he's been flirting with that wall all night long, Tony, and it looks like he finally got a piece of it as the 29 of Kevin King is also going to close in at position number 9. And it looks like up front, Hudson has chipped in to the gap that Nick Ottinger had. It was nearly 9/10 of a second as here comes Joey Brown down onto pit road. It's now a half second between Nick Ottinger and Tyler Hudson. Hudson looks like he's pushing a little harder to the front of this field. Maybe he knows that Ray Alfalla a little bit off the pace here.
Joey Brown about spins it coming on pit road, but yes, I think you're right as you see Joey Brown now coming down for service. Very early unscheduled pit stop for the Barley Electrical crew. Apparently, whatever that damage is, he felt it was enough to come in and get tires and maybe see if it cycles around to benefit him. And, you know, there's speculation that maybe Ray Alfalla is trying to save fuel, Joe, but doing the math, he pitted on about lap 45, let's say. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because I think it was actually lap 44. But we'll say it's lap 45. As Brown now retires out of the race, he is out of this one. Let's just say it's lap 45. That's 122 laps for Ray Alfalla to go on one more stop. In other words, you need about 91.5 miles per tank of fuel. That's really, really stretching it with an 18-gallon cell. You can barely get that kind of mileage with the old 22-gallon cell. I think Ray is just that far out to lunch right now. As much as it pains us to say that, and this is so uncharacteristic of Ray, I think Ray took a gamble tonight. I think he maybe did something with the car he wouldn't normally have done, and maybe now it's coming back to bite him.
Do I hear you giving a projection so early, Tony?
I don't want to say I give a projection early, but barring trouble right now, yeah, I think Tyler Hudson might have this one. Yeah, and imagine that happening, right? Trouble. But if nothing, you know, things stay as they are, yeah, Tyler is certainly in the catbird seat because Ray is not in a good position at all.
Roof cam, you're watching the roof cam with Tyler Hudson right now as Matt Busa comes off of pit road. It looks like pit road or green flag pit stops might be happening here sooner rather than later. Tyler Hudson is going to have to worry about that absolutely as he considers when he needs to go down pit road. Nick Ottinger also not electing to go down pit road anytime soon. He is fat and happy right now running in first. Crawford third, Connie fourth, Chad Lawton out in fifth. And a lot of guys, top 10 right now, all a huge gap between them. It's going to be 5 seconds between your leader and the top 10, so it's about a half second between each of these guys, which, in a mile and a half track like Homestead, Miami, that it might as well be a lifetime.
Down the back straightaway, the 01 of Tyler Hudson, the 05 of Ottinger, your top two, continues to be about 0.4 of a second between those two drivers. Jarrett Crawford runs now in position number 3, Conti and Lawton in 5th. But Lawton, we mentioned him about 10 laps ago, Tony, is one of the faster drivers on the racetrack. He's falling back into the clutches of Brian Schoenberg in the 55 car. Schoenberg has stepped it up in these last few laps. They had a couple of other cars there as well, but it looks like Schoenberg and Lawton going to go at it here for position number 5 as the Oboto Gaming Cockpit's number 55 tries to ramp it up a little bit here to take the 5th place spot.
Yeah, he certainly is trying to get his way around Chad Lawton, and it looks like maybe the 81 machine of Adam Gilliland has come down pit road, and again, he cannot make it the rest of the way from here. He'll need one more stop. And we'll stress it. There's a lot of speculation again, Joe, that Alfala's on an economy run trying to play the gamble, but I don't think he can make it. You might think otherwise, but I do not think he can make it. And we finally got confirmation that he is on an economy run. Oh, man, if he can win a championship on an economy run, what brilliance that would be on the part of the 2 bunch.
Well, this is exactly what I talked about earlier. You know, Alfala is a thinking man. He is a thinking champion. The entire time he's out there, he is playing chess at 200 miles per hour. And I think, you know, Alfala realizes he doesn't have the car that can stay competitive on the long run. So, what does he have to do? He has to play the long game. He has to play the long math game. He has to re-strategize his chess pieces on the field. And this is his attempt at playing, at readjusting his chess pieces. This is his attempt at making sure his queen counts out there and can deliver that big blow. Hudson now starting to gain on Nick Ottinger. Hudson 0.2 of a second away. He wants that bonus point, which could be the great equalizer between Alfala and Hudson.
Car length and a half as Ottinger tries to hold on to the lead. Tyler Hudson in the 01 wants to get that bonus point. Ray running 17th right now as the 01 creeps up to the Rheem Gale Force Suspension Management Systems 05. This time by 84 laps completed as the 01 tries to make that move as we get up to the halfway point now of the finale at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Ottinger trying to get that car to rotate, but look at Hudson gain a little bit of time mid-corner off. It's about a car length now between your top two as they go down the back straightaway, and it just looks like the 01 just so much better middle corner off.
Yeah, he's really carrying a lot of speed on entry, and we talked about it earlier, Tim. You want to make sure you can float the car in the corner with as much speed as possible without touching the brakes. So you want to back the corner up enough to where you don't burn the right front tire off, but you want to just let that car roll and roll and roll and then work back in the gas about here and drive off the corner. At this point, it looks like Tyler Hudson is the better of the 2 cars by about 0.5 of a second. They're coming up on the tail of the field, and this might play into who, in fact, can get a lap led. We know there's no love loss between these two, so I don't think you're going to see Nick Ottinger lay over and play dead by any means, Joe, for Tyler Hudson to get a lap led in his column.
Tyler Hudson's going to pull out every trick he knows. He's going to do everything he can to get up front and get that bonus point that he needs to potentially solidify his championship. But that being said, the 01 might be going for something bigger too as they get around the 33 machine. That is Brian Blackford trying to get out of the way, trying to also stay on the lead lap. The 05 and the 01 bumper to bumper as they get around the 33 without incident. The 01 knows that if he wins tonight, he wins the championship, and he wins it in convincing fashion. Which, you know what, there's nothing bigger than that if you're trying to win a championship. Go big or go home. That was the message going in tonight, and I think that's what we're going to learn coming out of it as well.
Tyler Hudson has cut it down to a half car length between himself and Ottinger. Now the question is, when does he make the move? He's there on the 05. Can he get it to cut a little bit better here? The 05 going to get a better run off as we come up on some more lap traffic. It's going to be the 40 of Josh Lawton. He had that unscheduled stop at the start of this run, Tony, so he will fall one more lap down to your top 2 here. And just keep in mind, I caught a little bit of radio communication chatter between the 80 team of Brandon Cattell. Cattell runs 2 seconds behind Ray Alfala. Cattell definitely saving fuel right now. That would lead us to believe that Ray Alfala is also doing the same thing. In the number 2, Cattell's team says they can make this race on one more stop from here to the finish.
Well, that's all fine and dandy, but if you go a lap down, it may not work out as far as the math goes. That's a pretty big gap you're going to have to overcome. If you come in for a splash and go, it might be enough to where you can get back out in front of someone. So a lot of strategies in play. We've seen these races do this year, guys. We've seen them stretch out in the second half and come down to economy runs and fuel mileage runs. We even saw Ray Alfala do a race like this and win it, if memory serves me, earlier this season. I can't remember where, but we thought he was crazy, and he ended up winning the race. So it's not out of the question, but certainly doing an economy run this early into the race, it's one of those deals that it's going to be hard. And I think if Ray can go to, I think it's about lap 106, that will be the tipping point. That'll be the halfway point of that run where we guarantee that he can make it to the end of the race. Here comes Hudson for the lead. Look at Hudson on Ottinger, and if Hudson can get back to the line, that's an extra bonus point that'll even them back up, Joe.
Through turn 4, they get back on the front stretch at the line. Hudson officially your leader and picks up that one bonus point, negating Ray Alfala's bonus point for leading a lap earlier. So Tyler Hudson now leading, now looking to take away this race. Is it going to continue to lead? Yes, the 0-5, none too happy about it. Ottinger stays with him. He wants to pick up that lead once again. He wants to win it. He's got a lot of pride on the line for him. The Gale Force team that have been so dominant all year long. Ottinger running strong. He wants a piece of the action as well. Meanwhile, distance starting to close in between the 0-1 and the 2 machine. About 3/4 of a track length between the 2 and the 1.
Down the back straightaway here, the 0-1 and the 0-5 going at it. And Nick Ottinger really pushing the 0-1 right now at Tyler Hudson. We thought Hudson maybe a little bit better on that run or towards the end of this run than the 0-5 of Ottinger, but now, Tony, that 0-5 maybe has a little bit of a prerogative. If I can push that 0-1 a little bit harder, maybe use his stuff up a little bit more, trying to stay in front of me, maybe it's going to help me a little bit in that long run. Ottinger right now, I believe, has led the most laps in this race so far. It hasn't been the 0-1 or the 2, so maybe that 0-5 of Ottinger, he's got those extra bonus points, even though there's not really any battle for Ottinger's position in the standings. Maybe he's playing devil's advocate here, maybe pushing that 0-1 car maybe a little bit harder, trying to keep him up in front of him.
Well, I think that Nick wants to win this race. He wants to go out with a bang, winning the last few races of the season. But you saw it last time right here, 1 and 2. Nick went in behind Tyler, and the car skated up the racetrack, lost the nose. And I think that's something that Nick's going to fight in traffic, is that car has been so good in clean air that it gets behind another car that's so equally matched it might get tight and the handle might change. But he's doing a good job pacing with Hudson right now. And I think, Joe, that Tyler is smart enough at this juncture to realize if the 05 is going to be an issue, I will let him go and just stay in touch with him. But I think Tyler now also looks at that F3 key here in the sim and says, Ray is 14th, 17 seconds behind me. I've got to push, I've got to push, I've got to push. And you talked about it earlier. Ray's a thinking man. That might be part of the game he's playing, if you get Tyler to push that car that much harder.
It's all about the game and how you play it, and your mind game's absolutely a part of this this race out here, a part of this track out there. Ray being half a lap behind is maybe of no consequence right this moment. Right now, it's all about the magic number 106. If Ray can make it to 106, he can make it all the way around, he says. So that might be what we're waiting on. At this point, it's a matter of wait and see. But if you're Tyler Hudson and want a championship, you can't play wait and see. You got to go, and you got to do the best you can to stay up front.
The 2-car of Ray Alfala running around in position number 14. I know social media has been a buzz the last couple of days getting ready for this race. I know PSR TV has some 3-month memberships, 2 new members to give away here to the most creative tweet. We're going to pick our tweets, our favorite tweets tomorrow, as here comes Nick Ottinger onto pit road in the 05 car. It's going to be Tyler Hudson staying out on the racetrack as Ottinger will come down to pit road on lap number 98. Pick your tweets, make your tweets. You could win a 3-month subscription to iRacing if you're a new member. And tell us you're a new member. Tell us you're watching us for the first time, as Ottinger is now down on the pit road and taking that second place position onto pit road with him.
And don't forget your hashtag on that one, hashtag iRacingWCS. You can also tag iRacing in at iRacing. And again, let us know, hey, you're watching this, it's your first time, you really want to get in on this. Speaking of which, even if you don't win the Twitter contest for the free memberships, guess what? All membership levels, and we say that because you can get 1 month, 3 month, 12 month, whatever. All new memberships right now are half off. So if you're a new member and you want to get in on the fun and you want to be part of this series in the near future, go on over to iRacing, subscribe. 50% off, half off for all new memberships right now. And here comes Hudson down pit road. Oh, Ray's got to last about 7 more laps, guys. This might be a little easier said than done.
The 0-1 of Tyler Hudson now starting to drift it. He might be out of fuel on that machine. 45 miles per hour. He makes it due pit road speed. And he is now going to the attention of his crew, look for a full tank of fuel and 4 tires for Tyler Hudson. And now the mind game begins. All eyes will be on the 2 of Ray Alfalla. He is on lap 7. He needs 4 more laps, 5 more laps before he's in the clear, and we can see if his gamble will pay off.
Josh Berry is the leader of this race. He stays out on the racetrack. Peter Bennett, Brian Day onto pit road in the 4. He's one of our Pro Series drivers getting his feet wet in this series. And then you got Tom Lewandowski and Michael Johnson, who Johnson's on pit road, so Alfalla will move to 5th place here. But you saw that entry by the 01 car of Tyler Hudson. Very, very aggressive to get onto pit road, as Josh Berry is going to come onto pit road in the speed code number 91. Really, really aggressive onto pit road was Tyler Hudson, a lot of these drivers. But that's what you have to do here, Tony. You don't want to lose any time. And sometimes that line, that thin line trying to get onto pit road, you straddle it the wrong way and you could end up in the pit barrels.
Yeah, you could. We've seen it all too many times here at Homestead. Somebody misjudges their speed or the amount of grip on their tires through that access road, and all of a sudden they're in the grass, they're in the wall, their race has gone to naught because of one little mistake getting on pit road. Alfalla completes lap 102 of his race. He is going to need 4 more laps, and guys, that's a lot of time to buy. By my math, Ray's got to buy about 15 miles worth of fuel on this run. That is a lot of fuel to make inside that Pro Geek Consulting Ford. I know Ford's got a great EcoBoost program, but I don't know if it's that good in the simulated world.
You know, something we haven't talked about tonight, Tony, this is Ford's first season in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. This is their first time that their Gen 6 car has been represented in this series, and no matter what happens, no matter how this ends, Ford will be your champion. So if you're Ford Motor Company, you got to be happy with that. You know, no matter what you do. Alfalla now scored in 3rd, looking for a little bit more borrowed time out there. Can he do it? He's completing 104, 2 more laps before he hits the magic number.
Tom Lewandowski also staying out on the racetrack. He's probably on the same strategy as he is down the back straightaway right now on 105. We'll see if Tom Lewandowski decides to opt on to pit road. He's staying out. Ray Alfalla should be staying out as well. For Anna Cattell, we know he's on the same strategy as well. Here comes the 2 car onto pit road. Ray Alfalla coming down, and the 80 team told me 105, and the 80 team is going to stay out on the racetrack 1 more lap at least, as Lewandowski stays out, completes the lap. Alfalla onto pit road at the end of 105.
So by our math, Ray Alfalla now, instead of 61 laps, is going to have to go 63 laps. Hold on. To complete lap 105 in the pit lane, he's going to have to go 62 laps on this next tank of fuel. That's 93 miles. The gap between Alfalla and Hudson, once they came back on the racetrack, it was pretty good size, but I don't know if Ray's going to be able to make all that up again on this economy run, guys. It's going to be large, and Ray Alfala now, once this cycles around, I think is probably going to be a lap down. So the last thing Ray Alfala wants to see at this juncture is going to be a caution flag, Joe.
Textbook pit stop for the two-team, 13.6 down and away, and everybody cycles through Alfala. Alfala is going to start dropping through this field, and it will. And with 16 going down pit road, it is now Nick Ottinger back in control of this field. Tyler Hudson behind him. Crawford in third. Connie fourth. Cattell fifth. Ray Alfala settling somewhere in the top 20, but it's not sure where. Currently scored 1 lap down.
The 16 of Lewandowski pits. Ottinger will go back to the lead next lap by as Lewandowski went by the pit road line, or the start-finish line on pit road. Lewandowski's crew going to work on that car now. Cattell coming off pit road. Ottinger will take the lead by almost a full second over Tyler Hudson, about 8/10 or so between your top two when scoring loops this time. Crawford in third, Conti in fourth, and the 26 of Chad Lawton completing your top 5. It looks like Schoenberg lost a couple of spots as well. He falls back behind Kevin King. Gilliland, Daly, Busa, unofficially your top 10 right now as the scoring will loop this time by. And Ray Alfala scored outside the top 20 right now when Lewandowski pits. And a couple of others, we'll see where that puts him, but it's probably going to be 20 or 21st for the 2-car of Ray Alfala. They think they can make it on one more stop, Tony. If they get some cautions, it's going to give them a little bit of insurance as well. But we'll see what happens with that 2-car of Ray Alfala right now. 21st, last driver actually on the lead lap right now.
But, Tim, here's the thing. Ray Alfala has just made his bed, and he has already forced himself to lie in it. There's no turning back now. This is what he's got. He has said, I'm going to make this an economy run with 1 stop and pray it works out. If a caution comes out, his strategy's done. He's going to have to race his way back through the field. If something else happens, he's done. There's no other way for Ray Alfala to win this championship except have this strategy play out for him. It's a very big risk, but the reward could be huge, 5 figures huge, $10,000. All it takes now is a caution flag. A Ray Alfala's night just got that much harder. Oh boy, the drama on this one, Joe. This one literally is going to come down to the last lap.
Very, very literally going to come down to the last lap. I think the other thing I want to mention here is Ray Alfala has effectively given his championship to the hands of the entire field out here. So now it's up to the entire field. He will be juried by his peers, and that will decide whether or not he wins the championship out there. I don't know about you guys, but that is not a position that I would want to be in. Alfala climbing, but is he going to have enough to climb the entire ladder?
Ottinger and Hudson about to be a battle for the lead as Hudson has chipped in. It's now 3/10 of a second, and it is closing on Nick Ottinger as this time by. It'll probably be about 4 lengths or so. He's got Cattell behind him, and there's one of those drivers, Tony, that's saving fuel. Same strategy as Lewandowski, same strategy as Ray Alfala to try to go to the rest of the race on the tank that they are on. Ottinger, Hudson down the back straightaway at 113 being worked on the board.
And here's what if you ride on board, let's see if we can get on board with either, Nick Ottinger or Tyler Hudson. You ride on board now with that 8 of Siren Wraps Ford. Look way up there. You see that white little speck? That is Ray Alfala. That is how close to going a lap down Ray Alfala is right now. Very uncomfortably close. But, like you said, he's holding true to his strategy. And if it works out and everything plays out, he will not have to revisit pit road. Tyler Hudson, Nick Ottinger will. However, here's the thing. All this depends on these large 15-second pit stops, 4 tires. Tyler Hudson can come down, get a splash of gas in 4 seconds, and then it's done. I mean, he comes back out ahead of Ray Alfala again. So, I don't know, guys. It's going to be close. It's going to be tight, but Tyler's doing what he has to do, trying to win the race. Ray's doing what he has to do, and we said it earlier. He's going to need to do something besides try to outduel Hudson, and here it is, Joe. It's coming down. The cards are on the table.
The cards are on the table. The bets are made. Now we're just waiting on the turn and the river, and we're going to crown a championship. You know, if we were playing poker, everything would be on the line. All the chips would be out there. Both sets of cards would be face up. And now you're looking at a little bit of skill, you're looking at a little bit of chance, and a little bit of luck if you're both drivers. You know, you're looking at a lot of these factors coming together, and as all these factors come together, nothing is certain. There's no winner until lap 167 is completed. So plenty of time for luck, for chance, for anything to go wrong out there. As Ottinger disappears for a moment, he's back on track. Ottinger could be having some electrical issues that could end his night early.
We'll mention this if you're new to the iRacing simulation, or you might be watching us here for the first time. All these drivers racing from the comfort of their own homes, connected to a server via their internet connection to run this race. Ottinger's connection not keeping up with the server, at least for those couple of seconds that were there. That's why his car did not appear on the racetrack. The 01 car of Hudson, though, is now going to appear in the back bumper of the 05 of Ottinger as they come by this time to complete 1:17, 50 laps to go in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship season. And Tyler Hudson now laying the pressure to the 05. What a run in the middle of the corner for the 01.
It was what a run for Tyler Hudson, and this is what we saw earlier, guys. As the race wears on, the run goes on, Tyler is so good on entry in the center, and he still has pretty good forward bite as well. Ottinger begins to struggle a little bit, and I think Tyler has that little bit of extra motivation. He also saw what the tires did in the previous run. Maybe now, Joe, Tyler says, I can afford to push this a little bit harder. Whoa, Ottinger tries to throw the block in turn one, hoping maybe Tyler Hudson's going to back off, but Tyler says, no! They nearly trade paint in turn number two. Tyler Hudson going for it here, and so is Nick Ottinger. Hudson with a championship on the line. Ottinger simply a win, which really is completely inconsequential to this entire picture tonight.
01 gets a position. 05 not happy about it at all. He's trying to cross over as they come across the line. Hudson leads the lap officially. Ottinger almost puts Hudson into the wall, and he gets the lead back, and now here comes Hudson. We have a dogfight on our hands.
Ottinger drove it in deep that last time by to take the lead back from the 01 of Tyler Hudson. Now Hudson sitting in position number 2. How hard does he push again to get up to the 05 of Ottinger and take the lead back? I believe at this point, Tony, I haven't done the math, but I believe Ottinger's led the most laps. I don't think there's any way that Tyler Hudson can get the most laps led here in these remaining 50 laps of the race. So we'll have to see how these guys race each other. Ottinger is one of those drivers that never, ever wants to give an inch. And Hudson is usually one of those drivers, typically one of those drivers, Tony, but he's got a championship to think about too.
Yeah, like we said earlier, he's really matured over the years, and it's showing right now because instead of taking, there's being times tonight he's having to give just to be able to take later. And right now he's in prime position on the back bumper of Nick Ottinger. I think Tyler wants to lead the most laps for that extra insurance, that extra point, but I don't think it's worth the risk of having Nick Ottinger make a slip up or that connection issue we saw cropping up and getting into you. So Tyler's got some things to really worry about. And don't look now, guys, but they're about 3 seconds off the back bumper, 3.5 seconds off the back bumper of Ray Alfala. And I'm almost thinking Ray has got to be thinking at this point, I've got to go a little harder. I've got to go a little harder to try to stay on the lead lap. And if he does that, from what we saw earlier, that might ruin his strategy.
One driver that's having a quiet but good night nonetheless is driver that number 93 machine, Byron Daly. Let's peek in on him on the webcam as he just continues to drive his own race out there. Currently scored in 7th. He's doing a good race. He's figuring out well out there. He could finish tonight and finish the season with a top 5, which would be great for Byron Daly and everybody behind the number 93 team. That Ford Fusion looking really, really good tonight. Back to Ray Alfala, currently scored 19th. He is currently about 3 seconds away from being a lap down as Tyler Hudson and Nick Ottinger charging each other back and forth, looking for position in a big way.
I want to go back to the Byron Daly bit just for one moment here. I talked to Byron earlier in the week, and he told me, obviously, when you're in a race car, it's the physical to go the duration of the race. Byron told me he's changed his workout routine, so now instead of doing a whole lot of running, because that's what he's been doing all season long on the racetrack, essentially. He's been doing more of the upper body and the weight workout, so I don't know if it shows yet. We've seen some webcams earlier in the season, but I know Byron Daly's been working on his physique, so hats off to Byron Daly in the 93 car.
No, wait a second, Tim, you mean to tell me, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, you mean to tell me actually having a workout routine can help you on a computer some? Get real.
Yes. I don't know as much, but I know he's at the GoPro Motorplex as well, doing some races out there, so that's helping him too in that. So I know Byron Daly told me, I guess the easiest way to explain it, Byron told me that he's getting ripped. I guess that's the easiest way to say it, right?
Well, I guess so. But, you know, you're right. It can help your endurance. It might not seem like it, but as much as you're on one of these wheels, guess what? Yeah, it can really play with your endurance and that muscle memory. Every bit you can do to help yourself, do it. And that's something that Byron Daly's been doing. They're getting ready to come up on the guy on the tail end of the lead lap right now. Landon Harrison, he's about, 15 car lengths or so from going a lap down. He, too, has one of our onboard cameras. And I don't know if you can see it out the windshield of that 89 car, but look at that white thing. Who is it? Ray Alfalla. Ray now about, 20 or 30 car lengths away from going a lap down. And this is when things really get tense, Joe. You begin to question yourself, and you begin to wonder, did I make the right call if you're Ray Alfalla?
Landon Harrison in the Hickenjick Chevy did not want this night out here, I guarantee you that. But there he is trying to stay on the lead lap, which means only one thing. Ray Alfalla's next. You see Ray Alfalla ahead, and it's only a matter of time now before the leaders reel him in. Alfalla needs to do something. He can hear the Jaws theme in his head as here comes Ottinger on a tear, looking for Alfalla. Tyler Hudson wants to do the exact same thing. Give him a little wave. See you next time.
The 05 to the inside of Ray Alfalla. Alfalla one lap down, and right now in the free pass spot, the 33 of Blackford is not on the same lap as the 2 and the 01 going to go at it. Going to get close back here as the 01 of Hudson and the 2 of Ray Alfalla down the back straightaway side by side. The 01 car on the lead lap. The 2 is not, and now Ray Alfalla is... he's not even in the free pass spot. The 89 just passed him. Landon Harrison is now in the free pass spot if the caution comes out.
Oh boy, like we said, Tim, this is when Ray Alfalla has to test his faith. The faith in his strategy and the faith that things are going to work out the way he plans for them to. But he also tests his faith in his other competitors, like Joe said earlier, because now, with guys starting another cycle of pit stops, some of them who are off sequence, you might have guys get into somebody inadvertently and bring out a caution flag, and that would be disastrous for Ray Alfalla. But right now, he's getting ready to get that free pass spot back from Landon Harrison. I'm starting to wonder, Joe, is this whole being a lap down thing going to start to play in the head of Ray Alfalla right now?
Only time will tell as they get ready to go. Tyler Hudson still in second, Nick Ottinger in first, and Alfalla now will be judged ultimately by this fuel run he's on. Still in 14th in front of Landon Harrison, and currently still in the position for the lucky dog should it come down to that.
05 comes out of corner number 4, 129 completed as he and the 34 of Matt Busa are going at it fairly hard out here. Busa is about to lose a second lap if the 05 can get to him. Hudson now closing back in on the 05. I think Ottinger possibly, Tony, may have finished up the games per se with the 34 as Busa now pulls away from Ottinger.
Yeah, Matt Busa just came off pit road, Tim, so he has fresh tires. He is going to be faster than the leaders, at least for a little while, until maybe the car balances out and he realizes that the speed isn't quite there. Alfalla, just to check on him, still back in the free pass spot. It's about 6 or 8 seconds till the leaders catch Thomas Lewandowski in 13th. So Ray is being scored 14th now. That's good news. It's higher than the 20-somethings where he was earlier, but still not where he needs to be at the moment. And again, if you just joined us, Ray Alfalla's on an economy run. He's been on an economy run since lap 45. He's trying to do 122 laps on one pit stop. Oh, man, the drama just keeps building. Things are getting hairy around the racetrack as well. Ray might see some kind of craziness in his night, or it might work out for him. It's hard to say.
Ray Alfalla picks up another spot as a result of pit stops. He's now in 13th. And he's got to say, he needs some help. Like I said earlier, he's eventually turned his championship over to his peers to see if they will make it work for him, if they will give it to him. 05 and Nick Ottinger right on the rear bumper now. You see the 01, the big blue oval in his face. The 05 makes contact with the wall, coming off of 4. Now the 05 and the 01. 05 gives 01 with the lead. Tyler Hudson. He wants this championship, and he wants it in a bad, bad way.
And Ottinger going to go back at him down to the inside of the 01 as Ottinger will take the lead back. Hudson did not lead a lap, and the gets into him. Going into the corner, gets into him again. Tyler Hudson in the 05 of Ottinger. Oh, boy, down the front straightaway. Ottinger will continue to lead, but I think Hudson's getting a little frustrated here.
That was almost the caution that Ray Alfalla didn't want to see, and really, because it would put Ray Alfalla back in the lead lap, it's a caution at this moment Tyler Hudson doesn't want to see. So Tyler needs to get his head about him right now and look at the big picture. Yes, he's frustrated with Ottinger running him so hard, but he needs to look at the big picture right now. It's one spot, and that might, it might play out later, but you know what? Right now it's important to keep the car in one piece and not do anything to jeopardize having an intact race car who's in touch with the leader like he is right now.
God, that brings me back to flashbacks of the 1980s when you used to have the big battles, physical and literal, or physically and metaphorically speaking, between guys like Earnhardt Sr. and Darrell Waltrip. That was some classic NASCAR big-time racing out there. You saw here in the iRacing.com Series World Championship, the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, and I've got a feeling it's only going to progress from here. Nobody's going to give an inch. Everybody realizes this is the last race of 2013. You have to make it big if you want your name to be known across iRacing, and for that matter, possibly in the real deal.
Big bobble from Ottinger. Hudson back underneath the 01 car. Going to try to go back to the lead. Ottinger going to race him on the outside line. Falls back in behind, and Hudson will come down the front straightaway this time and will lead this lap. Does Hudson have enough gap to pull away now? Ottinger in the 05, running in position number 2. The 01 starting to build a gap here. It's about a car length between your top two, as the 05 of Ottinger trying to get back up there. It might now be down to the 01, not making a mistake, Tony, as the 05, I'm sure, will pounce if something happens.
These guys have run each other so hard, and we saw it at the end of that last run where they began to run each other harder and harder and harder, to the point that maybe the right front tire went away on the Nick Ottinger machine, or maybe he just ended up reaching the end of his fuel run. But these two have been the class of the field all day. And really, they've been the class of the field all season, in addition to Ray Alfalla and a couple of others. And it's only fitting that a championship race would come down to these two. But I got to think that Ottinger now maybe, just maybe, I don't know, but maybe somebody's telling him the same thing that they're telling Tyler Hudson. Use your head and don't be that guy who ends up pinching off a championship contender and ended up in an incident that you didn't mean to cause. So maybe Ottinger's people also now having him look at the bigger picture of things and just say, look, he's faster, let him go, Joe.
In the box, you're watching Chad Lawton going up to third in the replay. He is now scored in the third place position, but still over 4 seconds away from your leaders, Tyler Hudson and Nick Ottinger. So score Chad Lawton in the third place position. Funny you should mention about being remembered for things throughout history. Winston Churchill once said, history will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. The problem with NASCAR is you don't get to write your own history. Your history is written for you. I think Ray Alfalla is learning this the hard way as he moves up to 12th now. He is learning that his history will be determined by what happens here tonight. If you're Nick Ottinger and you dump Tyler Hudson and you pinch him down and cost him a championship, that incident will define you. You can still win several championships, but that one incident will still haunt you no matter where you go. This is one of the few sports where you have very little control of your history. Your history is dictated by what you do and how you're remembered.
Down the back straightaway for your leaders into corner number 3 goes Tyler Hudson. The one thing we should watch, guys, if we do get a caution, is Brian Day on pit road. He's one of your 11 drivers that is on the lead lap, or now 10 drivers, with Brian Day falling 1 lap down. Lewandowski is in the middle of 1 and 2 right now, about to come off corner number 2. Tyler Hudson now in the middle of 1 and 2, so about a half straightaway or so between Tyler Hudson and Thomas Lewandowski. You're asking me, why does this matter? If this race goes green a little bit, that is your next driver to fall 1 lap down. Ray Alfalo right now in that free pass slot. Thomas Lewandowski about a half straightaway ahead of your leader. So he should be able to stay there, Tony. He is on the same strategy as Ray Alfalo, and I believe as well, I could be wrong, but I think Peter Bennett is also on a fuel run as well. He might be the best out of these drivers that did come down a little bit later. If this race does stay green and those top 5 in front have to come down, Peter Bennett might end up getting a win out of this.
Oh, Nick Ottinger's on pit road, Tim. Just as you say that, the Ream Machine comes down pit road with 22 laps to go this time by Nick Ottinger. To the attention of his crew, he'll slide the Ream Machine into pit road. He'll hot pit it, lock him up, and try to get it down to the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. This is large because now Nick Ottinger has said, I'm going to try to not only win this race, but I'm going to do it on fresh tires. And Ray Alfalo, as we've talked about, Joe, his bet is made. He can't drive any harder than he does, or he runs out than he is, or he runs out of fuel, and his night is over. Ray has his hands tied. And it looks like now the cards and everybody else are starting to come out. The flop is on the table. You got 2 in your hand, and you're waiting on the turn in the river at this point.
And the turn is going to be what happens with Tyler Hudson. He is going to have to make one more pit stop as Nick Ottinger down and away. He'll be back on the track in just a moment. Tyler Hudson, he's going to have to make a pit stop sooner rather than later. And here it is. Let's keep an eye on Tyler Hudson. This is going to be the big stop, the defining stop for him. He cannot make a mistake here. If he gets a black flag on pit road, that could be his night. Hot pitting it as best he can, locks it up, hits it perfectly, 45 miles per hour, down the long road. And now here comes the rest of the group. Tyler Hudson will get passed by several parties, but it's all about the 0-1 and what he's able to do down here on pit road. Will it be a 2-tire stop? Will it be a 4-tire stop? Definitely look for fuel and to at least check out two outside tires for the 0-1 machine of Tyler Hudson. That's it. He's down and away.
2 tires for the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. He is down and away. That could be the championship-defining moment for the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson. The 26 of Chad Lawton, the Tim's Corner Motorsports 4th Annual Late Model 150 Chevrolet SS, leads the field with the 5 of Mike Conti behind Brian Schoenberg, scored in position at number 3. And there you see Ray off corner number 2 right now with the 89 of Landon Harrison, the 33 of Brian Blackford also in that little pack as well, with Tyler Hudson in front. So Tyler Hudson comes off in front of Ray Alfalo. And now it comes down to Tony, does he have the 3 spots that he needs in order to take this championship? Ray's got to push a little bit harder, but can he push a little bit harder? Right now, it's 1, 2, 3 spots. It would be just enough.
Just enough. But I'll tell you one thing, I think the 05 of Ottinger will get back by Hudson. 4 tires versus 2. I think it's a no-brainer at this point. Tyler made that move to do one thing: beat Ray Alfalo and leave Ray in that state of helplessness to where he can only run his set lap time lap after lap. Tyler has fuel, Tyler has tires, he can go as hard as he possibly can go now as he tries to unlap himself around Lawton and Conti. So Hudson now back on the lead lap. If the caution were to come out at this juncture, Nick Ottinger would be the free pass car.
Which is bad news for Ray Alfalo. He needs some help out there. Leaders now down on pit road. Chad Lawton coming down. Michael Conti coming down. This will change the complexion of the race, and this will expand the position between those 2 cars. Alfalo now technically back on the lead lap. That's the good news for him. The bad news is still 3 positions. He needs to get around Jared Crawford or find a way to get around Nick Ottinger or Tyler Hudson, or hope for divine intervention that on the 0-1 or the 0-5 or the 83.
2-car moves past the 33 of Brian Blackford here as Ray Alfalla trying to lock up his third straight championship. Tyler Hudson trying to take his first. Alfalla saving fuel. I don't think you can save a whole lot now, though, as you look at that standings list. Tyler Hudson 7th, Ray Alfalla 10th. If it were to end the way it is right now, Tyler Hudson would be your champion, Tony. But we still have 15 to go this time by. And as I mentioned earlier, I believe Peter Bennett is on that same fuel-saving strategy, as is Thomas Lewandowski. Your top two trying to save fuel here and trying to pull something out of their potentially rear ends and win this race.
Oh, the strat. This is why I love racing, Tim. This is why we all got into it. There's a battle of sheer speed at stake between Hudson and Alfalla. There's a battle of fuel mileage. There's a battle of everything going on. Could you not imagine, Joe, a better season finale than this at Homestead? So many storylines coming down to these final 15 laps now, as 143 is complete. Make that final 14 laps. And Peter Bennett tries to hold on. Thomas Lewandowski tries to hold on. But Tyler Hudson and Nick Ottinger and company are just mowing them down at the second of lap almost.
Mowing them down and mowing them down in a hurry. Tyler Hudson knows what's going on here. He knows what's going to happen out here. Now here comes the 2 and 26. The 26 gets around the 2 in hurry. Alfalla gets dispatched by the 26 of Lawton. That opens up the door. That will make it 4 positions then between Hudson and Alfalla. Hudson, a very realistic chance of stealing this championship by sheer willpower alone.
And keep in mind, for what it matters, that was the teammate of Tyler Hudson, Chad Lawton, making that move. But Chad Lawton has a little bit of a better car than the 2-car, and now the 5 of Mike Conti closing in on the number 2 of Ray Alfalla for position number 8 as we close in on 11 laps to go. This next time by, 5 underneath the 2, side by side, down the front straightaway as they complete the lap. The main performance PC number 5 trying to take the position away from the 2. He will do so, move the 5 to position number 8. Meanwhile, up in front, Peter Bennett, Thomas Lewandowski, and Josh Berry trying to upset the apple cart.
They're trying to upset the apple cart, but at this rate, Tyler Hudson's going to catch him, I think, Tim, and he might get by him. And again, if they're on the economy run, they can't race him. They just have to let him go and try to get what they can get, just like Ray Alfalla is having to do right now. And Joe, you know this pains Ray Alfalla. The gap now is 5 spots from Tyler Hudson to Ray Alfalla. Advantage Hudson with 10 laps to go this time.
And here's the thing for Tyler Hudson. He doesn't need to upset the card. Let them battle. Let Bennett, let Lewandowski, let Josh Berry, let them have their fun. Tyler Hudson just needs to stay in front of Ray Alfalla. He just needs those 3 positions, and he is the champion. He gets the $10,000 check. He gets the trip, the banquet, everything that comes with being champion. Tyler Hudson doesn't need to do anything right now. He just needs to keep that 0-1 and assigned ramps Ford Fusion moving in the right direction.
Yeah, he needs to keep this thing clean for the next few laps of this race and come away with a championship. But as you mentioned, closing in on Berry, Lewandowski, and Bennett. I don't know if he's going to get there or not this time by. It's 6.8 seconds to 6.4 seconds. I don't think he's going to get there for the win. Peter Bennett may very well score this victory. Tom Lewandowski and Josh Berry, veterans of this series, they've won multiple times. They know their way to victory lane. But now Peter Bennett closing in on a victory here as the 0-1 of Tyler Hudson, about 6 seconds behind, closing in on championship. 1:59 complete here.
Bennett having some electrical issues right now himself. That car flashing a little bit, indicative of warp, as we talked about, a miscommunication between the computers. Hudson closes in another 8/10 or so that lap. This time now he's got 8 laps to get the job done. I don't know if Hudson can even get to the lead, but at this point it doesn't matter. Bennett, Joe, is looking for his first career NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship victory. Thomas Lewandowski behind him closing in. So is Josh Berry back there as well. And in fact, Tyler Hudson now just mere car lengths off the back bumper of third place Josh Berry. And I don't want to stir the pot because I don't think it's going to happen, but Josh Berry and Tyler Hudson are not the best of friends. and I don't think it looks like Josh Berry is going to give him any trouble. A very sportsmanlike thing to do by the junior motorsports driver.
Here's something else to consider. Not saying it's going to happen, but just for food for thought right at this moment. You have to remember that the NASCAR, the iRacing.com sim does not have an overdrive finish rule. There is no green, white, checkered finish if the yellow flag comes out in the next 6 laps. In the next 6 laps, we will probably have a green, white, checkered finish. But anything beyond that, 5 to go, 4 to go, there will be no green, white, checkered finish. The field is locked. Game is over. It is what it is. So if the yellow flag comes out at this juncture, at any time between now and the end of the race, race over. No matter what, race over. Peter Bennett looking for that win. Thomas Lewandowski looking to steal it. And then there's Tyler Hudson, who's only 5 laps away from winning his first championship.
And Peter Bennett closing in on his first victory in this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Locked into this series for next season as Peter Bennett looking to cap off this season and maybe go into the offseason, Tony, with a little bit of momentum as Peter Bennett 1.7 seconds ahead of Thomas Lewandowski, this time by 163 in the books.
163 complete, 4 laps. 6 miles are left, Tim, in the 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship season. Alfala is back to 10th now. Byron Daly just got by him. That now is a 5-point advantage. Tyler Hudson, as he works off turn number 2, closing in on the top 2. Lewandowski and Bennett, he may not get there, but at this juncture it doesn't matter as they work through 3 and 4. Bennett now looking to come see 3 laps to go.
It'll be 3 laps when they cross the start-finish line, and Tyler Hudson showing no sign of relenting. He's also showing no sign out there of wanting the position. He's happy in 3rd. He doesn't need to do anything else. Again, he's just running laps at this point and taking it easy on that car. 3 laps, 2.5 now as they get off of turns 1 and 2. And the king is dead. Long live the new king, Tyler Hudson, if he can hold on.
He's got to hold on to it first, Joe, as these guys will come by this time. 2 laps to go for Peter Bennett in the number 69 car. Thomas Lewandowski was closing in. Bennett stepped it up. That time by, gained a 10th on the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski as he has the 39 of Michael J. Johnson behind him. Tyler Hudson clear sailing in the 01. It's 2.8 seconds back from the leader and about 4 seconds ahead of 4th place Nick Ottinger, who made the move on a Josh Berry that last time by. This time by, white flag is out on the 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship season, and the 69 of Peter Bennett looking to take away his first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship victory, entering this evening's racing action in this number 69 car, 8th in the standings, looking to gain a little bit here as Bennett will round 3 and 4 and will look for his first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship checkered flag, and Bennett will go to victory lane at Homestead Miami Speedway. Lewandowski second, and Tyler Hudson will dethrone Ray Alfala. Hudson is your 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion. Ray Alfala comes across the stripe. His reign is over with a 12th place finish at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Ottinger and Chad Lawton complete your top 5 here. History in the making, gentlemen. Tyler Hudson is your champion.
Tyler Hudson, $10,000 richer. Wow, what a story from Tyler Hudson. And I'll tell you this much, Tim, for a driver that midseason said, I'm just going to give it up. I'm going to quit. I can't do it. He had a pep talk with some people, and that was the story. It was, dude, get your head out of the dark place of your body and put your head where it needs to be. And look at him. Tyler Hudson, get ready. If he's not out of gas, guys, to do some donuts. But this is what determination and persistence will do for you. Out of gas, or no, I think he's doing donuts. Yes, here they come. Tyler Hudson, the 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion.
The king is dead. The king is dead. Long live the new king, Tyler Hudson. a man who's had to persevere, who's had to make some personal triumphs this year. He has done it. He has made it work, and now he stands alone on top of the mountain, $10,000 richer. He will be crowned the champion at Homestead Miami Speedway. He will dine with the rest of the champions at the NASCAR Hall of Fame this year when they honor all of the champions. And Tyler Hudson cannot be more elated as he blows up the engine. The celebration is there. Tyler Hudson, your new champion.
Don't worry, we don't need that the rest of the season. Hudson, your champion, but guys, keep in mind as well, Peter Bennett is a first-time winner in this series on fuel mileage. Congratulations to Bennett. We'll talk to Peter and your top 5 and hopefully your top 2 championship contenders. We'll see if we can't grab Ray Alfala as well as your champion in just a few moments' time. And boys, we did that commercial free. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time, and we will bring you back with the post-race show and conclude your 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing. Welcome back to round number 18 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. If you're just joining us, you missed it. Tyler Hudson is your 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion. We'll catch up to your third place finisher in just a few moments' time. Keep in mind, everything is unofficial until the iRacing officials look at it. They pass through virtual tech, this, that, and the other thing. The bigger news, or as big news, I guess, this evening as well, Joe Cortez is in victory lane with the DylanCC.com number 69, first-time winner in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship on fuel mileage, Peter Bennett.
Hey, if you're going to win a race, you might as well make it the last race of the season, so they'll be talking about you all through the offseason and into Daytona. Peter Bennett Peter, I'm just going to ask you about the emotion right now. What's going through your head being a first-time winner at the end of the 2013 season?
I'm going to be honest with you, it really hasn't hit me yet.
Has the gravity sunk in? I mean, this is a big race. This is a big finish, and it's your very first one here.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's kind of bittersweet because most of the attention goes to Tyler, and he drove a heck of a season, heck of a race. I know he probably practiced his butt off all week for the championship, and congrats to him. And in a lot of ways, it's like my idol Jeff Gordon. He won Homestead last year, but all the attention went to Brad Keselowski. So, I am really psyched about this, and I can't thank my team enough for helping me with the fuel strategy.
The fuel strategy was crucial to your win tonight. How long did it take you to figure out your fuel strategy? And more importantly, at what point did you come into this race and say, hey, we can win this thing on fuel strategy alone?
If you ask anybody that knows me as a racer, they'll always tell you that I'm always looking for fuel strategy, always looking for an advantage on the long run. And when that last caution came out, I was about 124 laps, and I knew that we got about like 56 laps on a full tank when you're pushing hard. So I remember saying, I think we might be able to stretch it on one stop here. So I ran the first half of that stint at full speed, and then I started to back it down a little bit once I got a cushion in front and behind of me. And then from there, my teammates Lee Herron, Nick Morse, Chris Overland, Joey Brown, they're all helping me out, telling me exactly what I had to do each lap, how much fuel I was using, and I really can't thank them enough because this win is as much theirs as it is mine.
Definitely a big win for you. You talk about it being bittersweet, and I guess for what's the most bittersweet about this, the recognition idea or the fact that it's the last of the season and you're going to have to now wait until February to get another shot at picking up another trophy?
Well, I don't want to take away from the attention from Tyler. First of all, I mean he did he had a heck of a season, and so did Ray. I'm sure I'm going to go back and look at this broadcast, and I'm going to see their battle and how you guys are broadcasting it. I'm sure it's going to look great. I like how I nowhere. And I didn't really expect to win a race at all. I wanted 2 top 5s coming into the season, and this is my 4th. I'm proud of myself for that. Just racing with these caliber drivers, it's really special. It's really fun, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to next season.
What's next for Peter Bennett? What's next in the off season, and what happens now for Peter Bennett and the 69 team?
I am certainly going to take a break. That's for sure. I've tested and tested and tested week in and week out for over a year now. Through just the pro qualifying in the Class A series, all the way through the Pro Series, and all the way through this season. I really haven't had a break in about a year and a half, really. So I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to really enjoy it. And about halfway through the Pro season, I'm going to help out my teammates in the Pro Series, but I'm certainly going to take a break here and enjoy my off season.
Peter Bennett, you've earned it. It's shout-out time. Take the microphone. Your 15 seconds of fame begins now.
I'd like to thank my team, Last Row Motorsports. Joey came up with a great setup. I know he had some help from Nick Ottinger. The setup was great. It fit my driving style very well, surprisingly. It was nice and snug. Lee Herron for spotting me as a live spotter. He actually streamed me on Twitch TV. So that was cool. We had some people watching, so they could, watch my first win. I think I'll go back and watch that too. And everybody that helped me out with the fuel strategy, Nick Morris, Joey Brown, Chris Overland, everybody on the team, they just did a great job. And my sponsor, DylanCC.com.
Peter Bennett driving the 69 machine, picking up his first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship win. Peter, congratulations on an excellent finish to what's been a great season, and we look forward to seeing you next year here on the Niswick circuit.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and throw it over now to my friend Tony Stephen, who's caught up with the man who will be your NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion, Tyler Hudson.
Thanks, Joe. And Tyler, you are the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion for 2013. Punch the ticket to Homestead. Has it even begun to set in yet?
Man, I definitely think it has. I cannot freaking believe it. Man, I don't even know what to say. I'm freaking ecstatic. I'm so pumped. First of all, I just want to thank God for the opportunity and for all He's done for me throughout my life and stuff. And thank my wife, Lisa. She's done a huge supporter. I mean, that really does matter. It really does. And all the guys on One Up. I mean, oh my gosh. I wish I could send them all $10,000. They're the best. I mean, this wouldn't be possible without them. And I'm just really stoked, man. I cannot believe it.
I think a steak dinner's in order when you come to Charlotte. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, right down the road from the NASCAR Hall of Fame. You can take them all out, and it'll be a fun night. That race was probably one of the most entertaining races and one of the most dramatic races we have seen here in a very, very long time, Tyler. At any point did you doubt your strategy? At any point did you have any reservations about the way you chose to try to run that race and where you put all your cards and all your chips?
I mean, really, no. I mean, we were slower than Ray in warm-up. We were slower than him in qualifying, but I just knew from practicing so much that, excuse me, my voice is hurting. I've been yelling. But, yeah, I just knew the car was really, really good on the long run, and I just had a feeling going into this race that's what we needed. And, I mean, we had another car that was a little bit quicker, but it would die the last 30 laps of the fuel run, but it would be really a lot quicker than what I was tonight on the first 30 laps. So I just kind of went with my gut feeling and went with the long run car, and a car that Jared put together. I mean, Jared Crawford, freaking a mastermind. He could be a real life crew chief. He's so smart. And but anyways, I mean, after we got going, I really knew we had a really good car because we just started picking them off one by one, and then all of a sudden I was next to Ray, passing Ray, and the guys just kept me updated with what was going on. And then there was one moment they were like, I think Ray's saving fuel. He's going to try to go the whole distance on this thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. So from there, I just knew I had to win the race. So I thought I was racing Nick, and I drove my freaking guts out to get by him. And way to go to him. Great season. And then they told me, and then to find out I wasn't going to win the race anyways, which luckily I didn't need to, but I was kind of let down there because I tried so hard to get by Nick. And yeah, and then last 10 laps took forever, but I kind of knew if the caution didn't come out, it was ours.
And that's a big if. When you're talking sim racing, a lot of things can happen. People talk about physical race cars make every sound and everything goes wrong or seems to go wrong on those last 5 or 10 laps before a big win or a championship. Were you hearing things? Were you seeing things? I mean, how sweaty were the palms in those last few laps knowing that $10,000 in your very first NASCAR sanctioned championship, an international championship at that, was within your grasp?
I mean, honestly, the whole day, I felt like we had a really good shot. So I tried to stay on. I tried to stay focused, practice. Anytime I got away from the computer, away from being in the car, that's when it would really start to weigh on me. So I just tried to do that, and in the race, I mean, it was kind of the same deal. I just raced for it, and then you know, the last 10 laps weren't nearly as bad as trying to pass Nick, thinking I had to do it to win the race, to win the championship. So that's when I was really sweating. I had sweat pouring down my face, and then once we got ahead of them at that last pit stop, and the last 10 laps played out, and people were telling me what was going on, I was kind of relaxed. And just getting really, really excited. They couldn't shut me up the last lap. I was probably sounding like a little girl. I was screaming.
Tyler, look back on your season. We've been in 18 races through this journey that is the Niswick Tour. Is there any point in this season you think stands out above anything else that maybe was that one thing that won you this championship?
Well, no, I mean, there's probably not one thing, but I mean, if you look at the comeback, it's just fairy tale stuff, man. That was probably the biggest comeback in NASCAR history as far as the current point system goes. It's unbelievable, but you know, I mean, obviously everybody knows I have a lot of faith in the Lord, and that right there proves to you what it you know, He cares about what you want and stuff. And I mean, the race that really sticks out is Talladega, where we went in there. Our buddy Dustin Montgomery kind of fell off the map a little bit, had to move and stuff, and that's really who was helping me out. In Talladega, we went almost 2 laps down, and I was the championship leader at the time, and we just didn't have any help with the setup. We just didn't have a direction to go, and I thought, you know, well, there goes the season. And from 2 laps down, we finished, I think it was 6th or something by the end of the race. And one of my teammates, Phil Juring, who I used to race with a long time ago, back on 10 and stuff, he said it doesn't matter if you run the fixed setup the rest of the season, it's your destiny. And that really stuck with me because stuff just fell into place. I mean, it's really unbelievable. And in the way everything fell into place, it really was just our championship. I mean, I didn't even run a race and still was able to do that. So, you know, I'm glad I won, because if not, I would have heard, why didn't you run that race for the rest of my life?
And you know what? It doesn't matter now, my friend. You are a NASCAR champion, and you get to be honored with all the other 2013 champions at Homestead and at Charlotte, North Carolina at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Tyler, I know you've got a laundry list of people that have gotten you to this point, everything from your physical racing to your sim racing to simply helping you out with your business, TDH delivery. Who all's made it possible for you to stand in this spotlight here tonight and bask in this glory?
Well, like I said, I really got to thank God for the opportunity and making this possible. Got to thank my wife, Lisa, for supporting me and everything she ever does for me. We celebrated our 4-year anniversary just this past week. And so, and then, you know, and this whole week has been terrible. During the Dover race, we lost our best friend, our dog, Copper. He passed away during the Dover race 2 weeks ago. And so, I mean, we've had heavy hearts the past 2 weeks. We got our teammate on One Up, David Caters, in the hospital with, he was having seizures and some heart problems. So we're thinking and praying about him, and I know he's watching. And I got to thank John Ada with Ada Sign Wraps for, you know, being on the car for 2 years. He's just unbelievably awesome. We're going to have T-shirts and all that cool crap saying champion on it. You know, all the guys that won up, Jared Crawford, these last 5 races, that was the key there. I mean, he's just been unbelievable. But, I mean, I don't want to sell the other guys short. They've helped us out a ton. All the other guys on the team. Travis is my spotter. Marty, everybody. They've put in so much effort into this because they knew how bad I wanted it, and that just means so much to me. And I've had a ton of support on Facebook today. People calling me. Thank all of you guys. This is for all those guys. I'm stoked. I can't believe it. iRacing, I want to thank them for letting us have this opportunity. I want to thank you guys for the broadcast. I want to thank the competitors for making it fair tonight and everybody showing a lot of respect. And that's pretty darn cool. And I know I'm forgetting somebody and I'm rambling, but I don't want to miss anybody. Just, you know, everybody. I'm so happy right now that this is finally a dream come true.
That's Tyler Hudson, guys, your 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Champion from all the way down in the heart of the South in Mississippi. Tim Terry, it's going to be hard for you to follow that one, but I think you're standing about the second place driver tonight in the race, Thomas Lewandowski.
And a guy that was driving to the front of the field at the end of it but came up a little bit short, Tom Lewandowski, comes home in second and How hard were you pushing there at the end of the race, knowing your fuel strategy in the final couple laps?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I was pretty positive Peter couldn't make it because I know he pitted 2 or 3 laps before me. So I was just thinking I was in the catbird seat, and I knew that Tyler couldn't catch me unless something went horribly wrong. And I was going on the backstretch, and I'm just like, wow, he saved enough fuel somehow.
And a great way to finish off this season, your 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. I know you wanted to finish a little bit closer to the front of the field, but 7th place coming in. You have to be happy overall with how it ended.
Yeah, I put together a good last half of the season. I really got off to a slow start with being wrecked in the first 10 races a bunch of times. So a little disappointing I didn't end up in the money, but I will gladly take 6 and look forward to next year.
And now what are you going to do during this off season? I know there's a lot of drivers that are going to take some time off and do other things and then get ready for the upcoming season, which I believe will kick off in February. What are your off-season plans? Do you take time off? Do you continue working on the sim? What's your game plan?
Well, pretty much every year I will put my steering wheel in my closet and forget about it until about 2 weeks before the first race.
And I know you're looking forward to the next season. 6th place finish, as you mentioned, great season and a great way to cap it off here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Did you expect this race to go green from lap 45?
I absolutely did. I pitted with 1 to go. I knew that it would be a few miles race from there. We didn't have many cars to begin the race, and a few of them wrecked and stuff, so I figured that was about the time we were going to get a long green flag running, so that was the plan from that very caution.
And I know you got some you had a couple of great sponsors this season, had a great couple of teammates as well, and you're also running a Morgan Schooley tribute paint scheme in these last few weeks as well. Who makes it happen for the 16 team in this 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship?
Well, I just got to thank my teammates, Ray, Brad Davies, all the guys over at J Show. We helped each other, throughout the season, and it was nice to see those guys, get top 5 finishes. So, just looking forward to building on next year.
And with a 6th place finish, 2nd place finish here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, you better watch Thomas Lewandowski. I think he's going to be one to watch in 2014. Speaking about a driver to watch, a driver that dominated this race and put some fireworks on halfway through the race, Joe, it's Nick Ottinger, your win leader in this series, comes home in 4th.
Nick Ottinger comes home with in 4th place in the Ream 05 Chevrolet. And I know for a fact, Nick, knowing your personality, you want us to be first in a big way.
Yeah, I wanted to go out. I wanted to go out the season with the 7th win, and it wasn't from a lack of trying. Tyler he drove a better race than me. I did all I could with the car, and I was just too free at the end of the run. I got too tight from bottom and out into the corners, and I tried de-wedging the car by putting it on that seam, and it helped for a couple laps. But man, it was getting in the corners into the center a lot better than me. But it wasn't a lack of trying, man. I tried everything I could to keep the car under me, but that last couple of pit stops, we kept making bad adjustments to it, getting too free and all that. So I want to say congrats to Tyler on winning that championship. I know if it wasn't for that strategy, he would have won away with that win there too, and that's good for him.
Nick, officially you were fastest on the track. You turned the fastest lap time of all the cars out there, and you knew you were fast. Where do you feel like you lost the race tonight? Was it in that setup? Was it in the tightness you were elaborating on? What was it that made you ultimately lose the race tonight?
Oh yeah, I can tell it was in the setup. As soon as I land on the front end and go into the corners, I could feel every dang bump. So that's why I kind of had to bring half the car up on that seam, going in turn 1, taking an unorthodox entry compared to everybody else, and try to get at the turn. But I think we just had too much camber gain in the right front, and pretty much just killed us on the long run. I mean, I tried everything getting at the turn. I had that wheel cranked half the time in front of Tyler, so I did everything I could.
Nick, let's talk about you and Tyler real quick out there. You guys were exchanging some pretty heavy blows. You guys are going back and forth there. How hard was the racing, and at any time did it cross your mind that Tyler meant business out there and he wasn't going to let you stand his way?
I was battling the car most of the time, trying to get the turn, and I didn't know how many laps I led compared to Tyler, but I just wanted to get the most laps led and have some fun racing and try to at least be there for that last pit stop. But unfortunately, we made a bad call on the pit stop and just couldn't hang on to it. I mean, if we made the right call, I think we could have at least been there with Tyler to make a good what we thought was going to be the race for the win, but ended up being for third. But I can tell you, me and him race each other pretty dang hard and pretty fun, man. I mean, I gotta say, he's fun to race with, and you can tell the last three races he meant business going after his championship.
Nick Ottinger, as a result of your finish tonight, you will finish third in points. You will walk away with a $1,500 payday. It's not the $10,000 that the winner gets, but $1,500 still ain't bad for 18 weeks of racing.
Nah, considering the kind of very high highs we had this season and kind of very low lows that we had all throughout middle part of the season, I mean, it's good to come out with third place. I mean, it's when you bring a race winning car to the track each week, I mean, you can't complain with that. And tonight, unfortunately, we brought probably one of our bottom feeding tracks setups to the dang track this week, but man, it's hard to complain, dude. I mean, you bring these cars to the track each and every week, and they're a top 2, top 5 car every week, so you can't complain about that.
So real quick, so we're running out of time. Any plans for the $1,500?
Save it up. I gotta use it for gas money now. Come on.
Got to make that money last. Nick Ottinger, before I let you go, any shout-outs you want to give, anyone you'd like to thank, it's all yours, my friend.
Well, I want to thank everyone at GFR, Gale Force Racing. I know this season's been pretty dang spectacular for us, and got to thank Matt Holden for being crew chief of me throughout the whole season, Peter Fisher for spotting each and every week that he can, Ronnie Sisney, Ben, I'd say his last name, but I can't pronounce it, so he might get mad at that, but he knows who I'm talking about. But they get in here each and every week. I want to, of course, thank my sponsors, Ream. I also want to thank Kel for just being a great guy, and Brandon Jones as well for just coming on, having fun and everything, helping out. And thank my sponsors, Ream, Gale Force Suspension Management, NASCAR Hall of Fame, Lane Sim Products, Bella Racing Wear, ML Pacific Outfitters, and I want to thank Guy Drager for the paint scheme this season. It was one of the coolest schemes I had on the car in sim racing. So, and finally, I want to thank everyone just for helping out. Say congrats to Tyler again, and I know they had a good battle, so I'm kind of glad. Tyler won it.
Nick Ottinger, driver of the 05 Chevrolet out there, finishes 4th on the field, 3rd in points, and walks away with a little payday himself. Nick, good finish out here. I'm sure we'll see you next year in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
Oh, yeah, Joe. We're coming back.
I look forward to seeing you back there as well. Nick Ottinger finishing 4th tonight. Let's go over to Tim Terry. Caught up with your 5th place finisher, Chad Lawton.
Chad Lawton comes home with position number 5, and after the last few weeks trying to get a decent finish after showing the speed, finally comes home with a top 5 finish. But you had to earn it at the end, Chad. Talk about you coming through the field to get that 5th place run after your pit stop.
Yeah,
Chad Lawton's obviously dropped his microphone. There you go. You here now?
Yeah, I'm here. I guess I wasn't talking into my microphone. It was a good race. We started 5th. As soon as we got the green flag, I was back to 7th or 8th, I guess. I wasn't really good. I was trying to fill out the setup because I didn't know what setup to run between what Tyler and Jared had. They had a little bit different changes on it, so I just stuck with the looser setup with what Tyler was fast with, and fell back for the first 10 laps of the race and started working my way back. And once we got that long run, I was able to really fill out the setup and and see when it gets loose or tight in certain areas. And I was able to actually get from, I believe, 8th to drive all the way up to 3rd on that last pit stop. And if it wasn't for the 2 people that saved fuel, congrats to Peter Bennett. But I'm really happy with the 5th place to end the season. I've been running horrible the whole entire season, so it's a good finish.
And you had to work your way up through some traffic as well. We saw you and Brian Schoenberg battling earlier in the race. You and Mike Conti as well coming to the finish of that one. It wasn't without a little bit of traffic, even through that green flag run, trying to weave your way through traffic, getting the clean air, and then trying to reel those guys in. You mentioned being up to 3rd in that long run.
Yeah, everyone seemed to be driving respectful because of the championship, all that stuff. And everyone seemed to be pretty cautious and not try to be that guy that messes it up for a championship driver such as Ray and Tyler. So everyone seemed to have their heads on straight, and when a car was faster, everyone seemed to let that person by. And it was just it was good racing. I enjoyed it. Today was tonight or whatever. It was a good day for everyone, for One Up and myself.
Missed some races during this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. It's going to relegate you back into the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series, a series which you were the champion in one season ago. With you showing this speed at the end of the season, how much momentum does it give you into that Pro Series to try to come back, maybe not only make this series next year, but possibly become a 2-time Pro Champ?
I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's I just ran horrible all season. Once I wasn't running good the first 4 seasons, I kind of didn't have my head into it, too much. But we did a lot of testing these last 5 weeks to really help Tyler when I came over here to One Up, to really help Tyler get this championship. So I ran as many laps. For me, it's all practice. The more laps I run, the better I am during races. But it's just we ran good these last 2 weeks, but all season I've been running really bad. That's why we're running pro season again. For me, I don't think there's really no momentum in sim racing. It's all luck, and I think Pro Series is going to be, I think we'll definitely have the top cars as One Up, me and Jared, and I think and Justin Bolton, I believe, is the other person. I definitely think we're going to have top 5 cars, but I think Pro Season is going to be a little more sketchy than last Pro Season. So it's going to be a long Pro Series, I believe.
And that starts coming up in 2 weeks from this evening. Chad Lott and Jared Crawford, your top 2 from last season, going to be going at it and trying to not only lock themselves into the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship for 2014, but also winning that Pro Series along with it. You mentioned the teammates. You mentioned the championship going to the team as well. Got some sponsors on the car as well. Who'd you like to thank to get you to this 5th place finish here this evening?
I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank Jared Crawford the most. He's the one that puts in the time and effort in these setups. He's the one that drives all of us to practice and learn these adjustments. I've learned so much from Jared over the year and a half that I have known him, where I'm almost able to tweak cars to my liking, where I'm fast with them. I want to give a big congratulations to Tyler Hudson. He deserves it more than anybody in sim racing, and I don't really care what anybody says. This was his championship to win regardless. He was the fastest guy easily the last 5 or 6 weeks. Most of all, I want to thank Tim's Corner Motorsports for being on the car these last 5 races. We're going to hopefully work out a deal here for the Pro Series. And don't forget to sign up for the 4th annual Late Model 150 powered by Tim's Corner on October 22nd.
And that comes up next week on the Web Racing Network. So if you're on the iRacing Sim and you want to hop on, be sure to do so, latemodelchampionships.com. That's Chad Lawton coming home in position number 5. And Tony, obviously, Ray Alfala not with us after the race. Pretty dejected. And after coming in 3 races to go, he had a big point lead.
He did, Tim. He pretty much had an entire race's worth of points. And everybody, I think even us included, said this is Ray's 3rd title. He can just hit cruise control, and he'll take home another $10,000 check. Well, Dover happened, and Kansas happened, and all of a sudden we come to Homestead, and in 2 races, Tyler Hudson made up a full race's worth of points. And then we come to Homestead, and Ray Alfala doesn't have the car he needed. And he did what he had to do. He made the best of a bad situation, tried to have the fuel strategy play out for him, but it didn't quite work out. Still had a solid finish, but came up short of the ultimate goal. And Ray declined to be interviewed. He's already kind of taken off for the night, and he's going to go relax and try to blow some of the steam off from the season. But he did issue us a statement. He said, it was a pathetic end of the season. I didn't think it was possible to lose a title with a full race lead with 3 races to go. I got wrecked twice, and I didn't have the speed when it counted. And that's all Ray Alfala had to say, was simply he couldn't get the job done. He tried, but sometimes you know what they say, Tim. It's better to be lucky than good. Tyler Hudson this season was lucky and good when it counted.
Joe Cortez, final thoughts on this season. It was a incredible season, 18 races. Ray Alfala was out in front for a little while in the championship. Tyler Hudson comes back. Nick Ottinger lit it up. So many memories we can take away from this 2013 campaign.
So many memories, so many memorable moments, so many heartbreaks, and so much frustration. You know, Tim, I'm going to share something that you and I talked about on Facebook earlier today. You and I have been calling races since 2005. You and I have been through a whole lot together. You know, we saw the rise of Tim's Corner together. You and I have been through a lot together, but nothing, I think, in our career calling these races over the last 8 years has really led up to this magnitude, led up to what we had here tonight with the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. You had 2 world-class contenders, 2 contenders who could probably very easily climb into a Sprint Cup car and be able to compete at that level. Maybe not to that extent, but you certainly get the idea. You had 2 great competitors come in, challenge each other for everything they were worth, and put on an incredible show. Words escape me tonight because of the quality of driving we saw tonight and throughout this entire season. It really, I think my biggest disappointment is the fact that this doesn't continue through the winter. We have the Pro Season Series in the winter, but nothing quite like this, and I think it's going to be a very long winter waiting to see what happens in the 2014 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Just want to thank you guys and PSR TV for giving me this great opportunity, and hope to be back in the booth with you guys to do it all again next February from Daytona.
It's going to be an exciting season next year. Tyler Hudson unofficially, obviously iRacing has to go through everything and approve everything, but Tyler Hudson right now unofficially your 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. He joins Ray Alfala and Richard Towler as the 2 champions. Tony Stevens, final thoughts.
You know, Tim, it's been a crazy, crazy year, and kind of like Joe, we've seen a lot of things in our time. We've been together doing these different events on different networks, of course, PSR TV, the Web Racing Network, all for a number of years, and we've seen a lot of crazy things happening. We've all done real and physical races for various tours and series, and been fortunate enough, some of us, to do them for other networks on Sirius, in your case, mine with MRN this past summer, and, you know, a lot of things we've seen in our careers. But this was absolutely amazing. This is on the level of, when you really look at the comeback, Davey Allison giving up the lead he had in 1992 and Alan Kulwicki clawing back over those last 5 or 6 races. It was the same scenario, and it kind of started at the same racetrack. Yeah, Kansas and Dover were both involved this year, and that one happened at Dover. But it was just one of those deals where it almost seemed like Tyler said in his interview, almost a thing of destiny because of the way things fell. Because of the way the luck worked out, it just so happened to work out his way. And then, like Ray said in his statement, he just didn't have the speed when it counted. But the sheer drama, the strategies in the last race, the strategies leading up to this. I mean, we've seen first-time winners this season. We've seen guys really find themselves on the racetrack. We've seen guys lose themselves on the racetrack this season. And this entire 18-race stretch, just absolutely amazing. And to come down to literally a matter of who can beat the other guy on the racetrack, and that's all there was to it for a championship. You couldn't ask for anything better, and it came down to 2 guys with 2 different strategies and 2 different race cars. And the guy with the superior strategy and the superior race car driving ability won in the end. Congratulations to Tyler Hudson. I'm sure this is going to be a big, big feather in his cap. And let's not forget Ray. I mean, he drove his guts out and just didn't have the luck that he wanted. But you know what? It still takes a championship caliber driver to get in the position that he was in, and something tells me he'll be just as strong next season, and can't wait for it.
Yeah, he'll be back. You better believe it. Ray Alfala does not quit, not in the vocabulary for driver number 2, Ray Alfala. And Richard Towler, Ray Alfala, Tyler Hudson, the 3 champions of the series in the 4 years, year number 5, will be coming up in 2014. To follow along with all the news from the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship or the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, also the Pro Series, which is coming up in 2 weeks' time. The green flag goes in the air in 2 weeks from now. WCS.iRacing.com. That's WCS.iRacing.com. Once again, we invite you to join the conversation on Twitter, hashtag iRacingWCS or at iRacingWCS or at iRacing, at PSRTV. And we will have a couple of prizes tomorrow morning, I do believe, for the most creative tweets. A couple of new member 3-month gift cards for those, and I believe there might be a couple of $10 iRacing gift cards floating around the office somewhere as well. So make sure you put in your tweet. Maybe congratulate Tyler Hudson, Ray Alfala on their championship. How about Peter Bennett on his first career victory here this evening? He's going to be one to watch in 2014. What a fantastic way to end off our 2013 season here on PSR TV, and we have a big crew that helps week in and week out, so I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anybody here. Ilka Happala, Zach Stanko, we got Chuck Johnson, of course, Nim Cross, our pit road reporter, and busy around behind the scenes here this evening, Ian Bushing, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, Joe Cortez, Tony Stevens. My name is Tim Terry. We'll see you in 2014 when we say let's go racing from the Daytona International Speedway. Congratulations to Tyler Hudson on the championship. Until next year, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.